scoring position.
They still have monumental hitting issues.
Yeah, it wasn't anything impressive overall. Just the most impressive part were just the clutchness. It's so big for Ranger to come up with that grand slam. If he doesn't come up with that, hope it just continues to dwindle away. The fans don't believe, but it gave you something. I was in Edgar's when it went down. And the feeling, it did all change in Edgar's. The Astro fans were loud and talking crap and all that stuff. As soon as Randy hit that bomb, they quieted down just a little bit.
The bump, what else were you doing from Edgar's?
I heckled just a little bit.
Oh!
It was a friendly heckle, though. I forgot who it was in left field, and I yelled at him. I go, "You're not Altuve. Where's Altuve?" And he looked back and he smiles at me.
That's a clever one.
I wasn't like being disrespectful or anything,
no.
but
it's like, you guys have a new left fielder. Where is he?
Yeah, and then the Astro fan was like, "He's a Gold Glover." And I go, "Well, he's not Altuve. Where's Altuve?" So we shared a laugh.
I appreciate that. I always like it when players like kind of not heckle back, but laugh it off.
Yeah.
You know?
It's all in your tone.
Yeah.
Like if I were being disrespectful, it'd be different.
Sure.
But I'm like, obviously, I'm just having fun with it.
Yeah, when it's just kind of lighthearted. Well, good on you, Bump.
Yeah, it was fun. That was fun. Got to be a fan sometimes.
I know. A couple more things to take from this one. It is early. They do not have offensive issues solved. So what can we take from a win? Is it about momentum, vibes? Are there real things to take from it? I mean, you're heading into today's off day and into this series against the Rangers thinking what?
Thinking we have the capabilities to show up in big moments.
Okay.
And you're going to have to show up in big moments when you have a roster constructed the way that it is. You're not going to have lots of games where you jump out to a 4-0 lead and you're sitting comfy and your pitchers on the mound can just do their thing and be stress-free. You're not going to have a lot of those moments. Because of the way this roster is constructed, you're going to have moments where it's going to be a full count and you need to come up big, to where you have to be great defensively, to where you need Julio to hit a double and drive in a couple runs. So I think it just instills some confidence. It doesn't fix everything. It doesn't say that this team is on the road to win the division, moving in the right direction, but it checks a box, and I think that's a box that needed to be checked. We can show up in big moments, and more importantly, the guy who you are counting on to show up in big moments does exactly that.
We've been listening to this Jeff Passan cut for the last 2 days of him saying, I think the Mariners could go on a run. And he thinks that because they have a little more talent than their offensive production would indicate. So there's a belief that, like, look, Julio's ceiling is higher than at times his low points look. Arozarena, we know, can be clutch, can have his moments. And you know what I mean? Basically, like, you've got a little too much talent to have numbers that are this god-awful. There's got to be some kind of regression.
Yeah.
And you and I both joked, like, I don't know if it's happening now. Maybe we got to wait a little while to see this run. They just took a series win. Just took 2 or 3 from Houston, a team that's struggling offensively.
Yep.
Any chance that you start that run now?
Maybe. I said the run would come. Who are they playing?
You said it would
Cincinnati
be next.
And Minnesota? Was it Cincinnati, Minnesota? I forgot who it was.
I don't know about Minnesota. I know it's Cincinnati. Is it Boston? I don't know. Curtis would know. But he's editing things. Sorry, Curtis.
But no, we're hoping for that run, right? And maybe this could be the start. Oh, it was Cincinnati and Toronto.
Okay.
We're hoping for it, but listen, I'm not even looking at the next 6 games. I'm looking at the next game because we know how this team is and we know how this season is. It's just important that they prove to themselves that they're capable of having these moments. Asking them to have these moments day in and day out, that's going to be tough because a lot of things need to happen. We're already seeing they've been hit with the injury bug, right? So the luck is not on their side. So you just need to be consistent, man. And again, just keep working on that wrist, runners in scoring position, because you were still 2 for 10. So the last 2 games, you're what, 3 for 39 or 29 with runners in scoring position. That's not good.
That's not. It's the math is not checking out.
It's not checking out. But big moments. Julio is doing exactly what he needs to do with that pitch. Randy coming through clutch, and then guys getting on base, man. Mastrobuoni getting on base, Solano getting on base. That was important too. It was a group project.
Zach in the 253 says it's a roster constructed of B and C list celebrities. And look, Zach, I get what you're saying. You wish that there was more of this roster. This isn't necessarily a Mariners analogy, but what I'd like to say is another roster constructed of C-list celebrities is a TV show called The Traitors. And it's fantastic. And so I'm just saying, not all groups of B and C list celebrities are bad. Will we see a fun season from the Mariners? A less than stellar roster? I don't know. We just got a great season from the Traders.
Well, I haven't watched that, so I can't vouch for it. But I take
You don't watch anything that Curtis and I tell you to watch.
You guys are my you're my reference when it comes to reality TV. So
But you
I'll
don't.
take your
But
word
then you
for
don't.
it.
We told you to watch
Double
Survivor.
vote on Survivor last night.
It's so good.
I know Luke Rylee was watching that.
Luke Rylee got 2 wins.
Yeah, he
I
did.
think.
Yeah.
It was a great episode of Survivor.
It really was.
It was a great episode.
Great time to get him. The merge has happened. We're now voting out jury members. It's great.
Is it? I'm not going to spoil who goes home. Do you think it's bad to spoil someone who's still there? Like, does that somehow give it away?
It does kind of a
Okay.
little bit, yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you during the break. There is a cast member that I'm like, man, I hope this person wins. They are so likable. You could probably tell who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've got a good idea.
Yeah. God, such a good season. Bump, it's too bad you're not watching. You're going to waste so much time watching the Masters when you could be binge watching the first 6 episodes of Survivor.
Maybe I'll get to it. I'm off tomorrow, so maybe I'll check out a few.
206 says the Mariners need a couple more Boston Robs. That's right, 206.
That's exactly right. Ruthlessness. That's what they need.
Is that part of the Traders?
He was on the Traders,
He
yes.
was on the Traders, but he's also from Survivor.
Yeah, he's Survivor
Catch
lore.
up. I already know. Like, I keep thinking Bump's going to surprise us. Like, he's going to come in and he's going to be like, so here's what I think about kind of the politics post-merge. Like, here's what I think's happening. But he's not going to surprise us. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Oh, can I say something very quickly here? Just a PSA. Everyone's calling Randy's hit last night electric, says the 206. Are we about to bring back the Electric Factory? I vote that we do not.
Yeah,
No, don't do
I'm
it.
out on the electric.
I'm
Factory.
It
done
was
with that.
started by someone who's no longer on this team and who, frankly, like a lot of
people
people
didn't like
didn't
him.
particularly like.
They didn't like him.
I see the vibe and I see the artistic direction you want to take us in, but I'm vetoing Electric Factory coming back.
You know who was the person that was interviewing Jesse Winker that night that led to that soundbite? One Mike Lefko.
You go, Mike. Left go. Glenn Coco, 2 for you. 4 for you.
Headline number 1, Luka Doncic dropped a season-high 45 in a blowout win over the Mavericks in his return to Dallas last night. What's the real headline?
Okay, sure, but the Mavs won't have to pay him a max extension, so who's the real winner here?
The Lakers.
Well, yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you guys are like looking good heading into the
What?
playoffs, I guess.
Yeah, we'll take that. Did you hear the crowd screaming or chanting "Fire Nico" at the game last night?
No, but I did see Luka crying.
Luka was crying. It was emotional. He's like, I should be here, but I'm glad I'm not here at the same time because now I'm in LA and I'm going to be the man in LA. Luka did what he's supposed to do on his return. Dropped, 45 points, 31 in the first half. He looked great. And it was a perfect welcome back type of situation for him. They get the win, 112-97. Lakers poised to get into the playoffs. Well, we know the right now is about all their seeding at the the Rockets tomorrow. It's looking good for the Lakers, man. I'll say it again. I was wrong about this, man. It's working out. This trade working out a lot better than I thought it would in Dallas with Kyrie going down, AD being banged up, not looking good for them.
You know,
thank you, Nico. I say keep Nico, honestly.
You were speaking from a place of, I think, guilt. Like, if you were not a Lakers fan, I don't think you would have had your take. But I also think you know that. Like, I think you were like, guys, AD is great. He's a great guy. And you also are a high-level basketball watcher. So you were like, let me tell you about the structure of this team and what they need and the short-term things and kind of where they're at. But I think it was a little bit of like, just put some respect on AD and like, we didn't fleece him that much. You know what I mean? We aren't the bad guys here.
People were pooping on AD. Like, he's not one of the top 3 big men in the game right now. And I thought it would work out later for the Lakers. I thought that Luka would have to get with the organization. LeBron would have to teach him how to be a pro. I didn't know if they're going to mesh. I love the pick and roll game with Kyrie and AD. But, I was wrong. I was wrong.
It's a trade that to this day, and I know every NBA fan and non-NBA fan would say, it just doesn't make sense, and I don't get it, and I want to know more and why.
Nico got punked.
Truly.
He did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot we were doing this.
Headline number 2. Round 1 of the Masters is underway at Augusta National today. The birds are chirping.
Okay.
Trees are blowing in the wind. Scotty Scheffler with a tied for the lead through 10. What's the real headline?
We've got a TV in studio, so if Bump suddenly stops talking, you'll know why.
This is like Christmas to me, except I get to experience Christmas for 4 days straight. All right, I'm even going out. I'm going to play around tomorrow. I'm going to have it up on my iPad as I'm driving down the fairway. This is the greatest weekend in golf. Only thing missing is Tigre Woods. He's not out there.
That you didn't compare the Masters to the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
I just did. I did. Really, we should be celebrating Easter more than Christmas anyway.
Yep, he is arisen.
So Masters
Palm
takes the
Sunday
place.
this week.
It's I'm gonna be that person. I cannot believe it's almost Easter.
That's true. Yeah.
But no, I picked Rory McIlroy to win. It's been a while. He's won 4 majors. It's been like 10 years since he won his last one. My man's going through a divorce right now, so I'm like, he's probably locked
They got
in.
back together.
Did I don't know.
Scotty Scheffler?
I don't think they did.
What? No,
they
I
did.
need to know.
I
Are we
think they
talking
did.
about Scotty Scheffler
Nah,
right
Rory
now?
McIlroy.
Rory McIlroy. No, I thought they did get back together.
Did they get back together?
Let me search.
Well, you know, my man's
Why?
been through some
love.
stuff.
We're rooting for love.
He's been through some stuff. He's
They
locked
just
in.
made They just made a day ago a public outing together.
Hey.
8
Alright.
hours
That's
ago, he
good.
shared an update on his relationship with his wife. No, this is important sports news. I'm not going away from it.
Okay.
He said that they filed for divorce last year before reversing the decision.
All right.
So I think
Okay.
they've reconciled.
All right.
I think they're back together. I think they're making it work. Love is real.
Love is real.
Love is real.
That's the real winner of the Masters.
Put love aside and get a major, Rory.
No.
All right? She can wait. Focus.
He's
Get your
already
priorities straight.
He's already got a major win.
He's
you know
got
what that
4 of
major
them.
win is?
Oh, got
Happy
it.
loving family.
Happy loving family. That's beautiful, honestly. Rory, make me some money and win, please. Appreciate you.
Headline rewrites.
So first we're hating on Christmas, then we're promoting gambling.
I didn't promote anything. I just tell you what I'm going to do.
on this show,
Headline 3.
palate cleanser.
The Seahawks are reportedly hosting Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe and Louisville quarterback Tyler Shough on top 30 visits this week. What's the real headline?
Bump, will John be able to pass on a passer?
I hope he doesn't. I really want to bring somebody in.
But like later.
Yeah, later. I'm not saying 18, 50, maybe 52. As long as you get the best player you can get at 18, and then you go and get the best guard or tackle you can get around the 50s. Now I'm saying, all right, there's some things you have to do, though. I would prefer getting a DB in the mix as well. They're thin in that area. But no, bring in a quarterback because you have an out with Sam Darnold. That second year, you can get out and be fine. Bring somebody in to push him. And we don't want Sam to be comfortable. He plays his best when he's a bit under pressure, not on the football field. Talking about just in the facility, in the organization. Let's push him a little bit. I would love for him to draft a quarterback. And if it's one of these two, I'm not mad either.
Well, and I think we will talk more about these two over the next 2 segments for kind of like a scouting report look at both quarterbacks. I think that any quarterback taken, into the second round and beyond, you can safely say is typically a project quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, you have a 27-year-old passer here. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a nice matchup. You're not the Giants prior to signing Wilson and Winston going, what do we do?
Yeah.
We need someone. Our last quarterback became a scout team safety, and now we quite literally need someone here immediately to start. You've got a little bit of wiggle room if you wanted to look for a project quarterback.
Yeah. You got some room. I think Sam is going to be fine. I think that, like most quarterbacks, if he is supported properly, he can win some ball games. But you're always looking for the franchise. You're always looking for the elite of the elite. I think most people can agree that we don't think Sam is that. But if he has receivers, if the O-line blocks, if the defense performs, he can do some things, but nobody should be comfortable. There's only like 4 guys in his league, 5 guys in his league who know they're going to be with the organization for the next 3 or 4 years.
You know what's interesting? I was on, Brian Nemhauser has his Hawk Blogger podcast, YouTube series. I was on with them yesterday, Evan and Dana as well. A great conversation, and part of the conversation steered toward just in general talking about team building and quarterbacks and Geno in general. And I was telling Brian and the crew that a little part of me is gonna miss the conversation about Geno because I liked that he was so polarizing, and I also liked having a conversation about what it means when you're not a team with one of those 5, 6, 7 guys. That's the bulk of the league doesn't have a face of the franchise passer.
You're always looking. Even if you have a decent season from your quarterback, you're always looking for the guy that you want to put together a contract that makes no sense to anybody but you and him. That 10-year, $500 million contract that Pat Mahomes has. You're always looking for it. So stay searching, stay looking. But I am fully in support of Sam Darnold. I think that if he has any season close to what he did last year, this team will be pushing for the playoffs.
Are the Seahawks eyeing a quarterback in the draft? 2 big names, 2 top 30 visits. We'll learn more about them next.
The Cal Raleigh Show.
Belted way out of here to right field. Holy smokes.
Every Thursday with Shannon Dreyer on Wyman and Bob.
Seattle has been nothing but good to me. I would love nothing more to play for one team my whole career.
Listen live on the Seattle Sports app or find the video on YouTube.
Cal Raleigh with a walk-off home run.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
47,000 fans are going crazy.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. So one of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
You think your home is pretty cool until that summer heat hits, and suddenly your home isn't that cool. In fact, it's hot. Air conditioning from Washington Energy Services can help. Stay cool this summer with our biggest spring savings event ever. This month only. Take up to $3,500 off an energy-efficient Bryant cooling system with exclusive Washington Energy rebates. Ensure your home is always the cool house with air conditioning from Washington Energy Services. Contact us today for a free estimate.
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's business solutions can help bring your biggest what-ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting-edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Testing.
We're live from Chick-fil-A.
This is Grant.
And this is Laura.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that sweet bun.
And that chicken filet was perfectly crispy and soft at the same time.
And that Smokehouse Barbecue sauce, it's a lot of fun. And the brown sugar bacon definitely had a little bit more pizzazz. Also, the mac, one of the all-time greats. Man, I'm getting hungry.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and a Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Progressive knows when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia, puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected. You're lobster drenched in butter and... Uh-oh, did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said, but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
At Shane Company, we know getting engaged is a big decision. But once you know, you know. That's the way our customers feel when they choose a Shane Company engagement ring. They walk into a warm welcome and walk out with their dream ring, knowing they got it right. For almost 100 years, we've been offering personalized shopping experiences. And we're in it way past the honeymoon, with a free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, cleanings, repairs, and resizing for life. Shop with us at shaneco.com or at your neighborhood store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey, Brock Ewart here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. The weather is warming. The sports are moving outdoors, Shannon. Maybe time to take care of that lawn and pull the old lawnmower out. Is it a time where you get a little busier as the weather warms?
Oh, absolutely, Brock. You know, what we know, particularly in the Puget Sound, we have these cold, wet winters. The weather changes, the sun comes out, and everybody wants to rush outside and do things. And I'm telling you, that's great, but you got to take time, listen to your body. You got to prepare your body for those activities. You don't want to go too fast, too soon. So warm up, stretch, make sure you have flexibility, a little bit of conditioning, because if you're conditioned and ready and prepared, those activities outside are going to be so much funner, if that makes sense. You're an athlete yourself, Brock. You know how important warming up is.
No, I like funner. I think they would tell you more fun, but I kind of like funner, and that's exactly what IRG is. For more info or to book your appointment today, simply go to irgpt.com. Remember, that's irgpt.com.
Announcing the Million Hour Volunteer Rally. G here, join me, Safeway and Albertsons, and donate your time and skills to support local food banks and host food drives or fundraisers. You can win free groceries for a year and a $5,000 donation to your favorite hunger relief agency. Visit albertsons.com/volunteer to learn more. Find volunteer opportunities and log your hours. A million hours will help create food secure communities. Visit albertsons.com/volunteer.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Fox Sports' Jordan Schultz reporting Jalen Milroe, Bama quarterback, will have a 30 visit with the Seahawks, Rams, and Giants over the next couple of days. Now, the Rams are widely expected to take a quarterback at some point to be the eventual replacement for Matthew Stafford. Giants obviously in the market for a quarterback and have been for a while. Seahawks are tougher to predict. They signed Sam Darnold, who was the top free agent available, but they have no real depth or plan behind him. He's young enough to make you think he could be the long-term plan. Maybe they don't take a quarterback, but Schneider might be itching to take one, which is something he couldn't really do when Russell Wilson was here. Will that be Jalen Milroe? Bump, what's the first word that comes to mind with Milroe?
Athletic as heck, man. He's the most athletic quarterback in this draft. And as I'm watching the film on this dude and I'm thinking about just how athletic he is, I thought to myself, Anthony Richardson might have jacked it up for him.
Oh, no.
Because Anthony Richardson, we all fell in love and scouts fell in love with his athleticism. And they figured we can teach him how to be a quarterback. And he wasn't a horrible quarterback. He played D1 ball at Florida, but there are some things that he just wasn't great at. But looking at Milroe, 2,800 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions, completed 64% of his passes, 21-6 as a starter over there with Alabama. I saw him make far hash to sideline throws, and that is a clear indication of arm strength, right? When you are falling backwards to your right, you're on the right hash, you're throwing outside the numbers to the sideline to your left, that shows that arm strength. Again, he's the most athletic quarterback in this year's draft. 20 rushing touchdowns. That's kind of where he shines the most. He's only gone 2 games last year where he didn't score a rushing touchdown. He had 4 against LSU. He had 3 against Auburn. He has 3,500 total yards at Bama. That's 6th most all time. So there's a combination of things that he can do. He's a risk taker at sometimes. Like when you are as physically talented as that guy is, as far as his arm and his legs, you tend to take more risk. That's just what it is because you feel like you can get it done. I watched this game against Georgia, and there was a calmness about him in the pocket. And when you decide to send guys after Milroe, he's liable to break that thing open and make plays. He is what I see as the quarterback that fits in like a Baltimore Ravens system, the Bills system, an offense where you're going to be asked to read the ends, RPO that thing, and say, you make the decision. You have the green light to do whatever you want to do with the football in your hands because you can make some plays. I like him. I think that there's some things he needs to work on. His touch passes aren't the greatest. Everything is so he throws like a fastball. You know, there's no change up. There's none of that with him. He likes to throw the rock, and he puts it in good places for the most part. There's just no real flow to his game. You know, it's almost like watching sometimes when you get a basketball or a football player on a basketball court, and you see like they can clearly hoop, but everything's just so strong and forced, That's kind of what I see when I watch Milroe play. I think if he is developed, he can be a good quarterback in this league. He's not the quarterback that's going to come in and be your starter day one. He needs some time. So if anyone's thinking about drafting Milroe, I hope they're thinking, we're going to allow this young man to sit for a year or two and let him develop and learn behind somebody. This is a project. He has the physical capabilities to get it done. He just needs to be groomed a bit.
Is accuracy or some of the things he does struggle with something that can change when you transition to the league, right? Like you can put on some muscle. You can, better learn to read defenses, assuming that you're smart enough and your football IQ is there. Like there are things that quarterbacks continue to evolve with a great quarterback coach. Are his issues one of them?
Yeah, you can improve accuracy. I was just reading an article from on Pro Football Talk, and they were talking about Liam Cohen, right, the new coach over there with the Jaguars. Exactly, that dude. And the first thing he's talking about is improving Trevor Lawrence's footwork. And that's how you improve accuracy, honestly. There's some other things with your mechanics that you can improve, but it always starts with the base. Like my baseball players out there, right? If you're not balanced, you don't have a balanced swing, the chance of you clipping the ball are going to be low. My golfers, if you're not balanced and shifting away, your accuracy off the tee or anywhere is going to be low. That's the same thing with quarterbacks. If their feet aren't set, they're not transferring weight, they're not balanced, it's going to be tough for them. So I read that article, Liam talking about Trevor Lawrence, and I automatically thought about Milroe. He seems like he has a good base, but there are some things that you can fix. Right? I'm no quarterback coach. I know, obviously, I played the position in high school, but there are some things that quarterback coaches can do to help these guys become more accurate.
All right, some listener questions in. I'll get to in 1 second. Let's see. Is there a fair NFL comp? I know a lot of people have pointed to Jalen Hurts, but maybe NFL comps are always unfair.
Yeah.
You, in fact, mentioned it yesterday with Will Howard being comped to Josh Allen, and the initial reaction is like, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
But then you can kind of see where the comp comes from. So is there one that with a lot of context, you're like, okay, look, here's who he could be with perfect development?
Yeah, I think Jalen Hurts is the guy. Jalen Hurts will be the guy when it comes to mobile quarterbacks. I'm never going to look at Lamar Jackson and say he's a comp for anybody. Lamar Jackson is a unicorn. We're not going to see another Lamar Jackson in our lifetime. But yeah, Jalen Hurts is that guy. What is Jalen Hurts asked to do? RPO that thing, hand the football off, and take your shots. And now be an athlete, especially inside the red zone, and use your legs to score touchdowns. I think that's a fair comp, but Milroe is bigger, faster, and stronger than Jalen Hurts.
Okay, let's get to the text line before I have some few more questions for you. 850, I love a good project more than anybody, but I think the Seahawks should be a little more focused on proven talent than a project player, in my opinion. What do you think about that take?
I think most teams want to take that approach. But when you already have a starting quarterback, and if you do draft a quarterback, it's going to be later, that's probably the route that you're going to go. Because none of these guys are proven. Cam ain't proven. Shador ain't proven.
No.
Dart isn't proven. I mean, they show more upside when it comes to just playing the quarterback position, but nobody's proven. But I get that way of thinking, but that's reserved for teams who are garbage. That's why they're picking 1 through 5, 1 through 7. They can focus on the guys who are ready to play or they think are ready to play right now. The Hawks are not going to draft a quarterback at 18. Therefore, they're going to get maybe if they do draft a quarterback, like the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th quarterback in the draft, and he's probably going to need some work.
I'm phrasing this question weirdly, so forgive me for that. I wonder if a lot of people, when it comes to the Seahawks, especially focus on Milroe or maybe a couple more dynamic athletic quarterbacks because Seattle had Russell Wilson and the narrative was, oh, he's mobile, he's athletic, he can improvise, he's smaller. And there's just this idea that, well, that's clearly the type of quarterback Schneider likes. But we don't fully know the kind of quarterback he likes because you had Russ here, and then you did have Geno, but it's not like John drafted him. Pete was a huge fan, and I think we can all kind of feel like maybe a bigger fan than John of Geno.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we're jumping the gun thinking that John would automatically want a guy that's going to excel with RPO and be able to run the ball. What do you think?
I think that decision really leans towards McDonald and Kubiak. I think John likes quarterbacks, and John is a good quarterback evaluator, but John doesn't know the offense the way that Kubiak knows the offense. And I think that he has to lean on them. I think you take John's expertise into account for sure, but you're looking at Kubiak and you're hoping he's here for 3 to 4 years. What type of quarterback do you feel like can run this type of offense better? or the best, excuse me. There's not a lot of RPOs in Kubiak's offense. There's more play action boots and all that good stuff. And if he feels like that's the type of quarterback that's needed, then so be it. I'm actually going to talk about that in fourth down territory.
Okay, I was just going to say, well, what kind of quarterback could? Like, if you could grab a quarterback in the league and say, this guy's like a perfect Kubiak quarterback. Okay, interesting. We'll get to that later then. All right, let's get to one or two more questions about Milroe. Someone said, can the Seahawks draft a player who can hit with runners in scoring position? We'll see. If you get Milroe, says John and Everett, could you use him like Taysom Hill while he works on his accuracy?
Taysom Hill was used as a quarterback, a tight end, a running back. He did just about everything. No. If you draft Milroe, you want him to focus on the quarterback position.
Well, and Milroe was asked about that at the Combine and said, like, you don't ask a zebra to become a dog. Just being like, look, he's been asked multiple times, would you consider this position? Would you consider doing this? And he wants to be a quarterback. I also think that while I can work on several things at once when it comes to my job, when you're a quarterback who's being brought in, you don't want to interrupt. I would imagine you would know more. You don't want to interrupt that development, right?
It's a process.
Yeah.
It's the hardest position in sports. If you want your quarterback to develop as a quarterback, you let him do that 24/7. And I think that hurt Taysom Hill's development as a quarterback because he was doing so many other things.
Yep. All right, the Seahawks have had 2 30 visits with quarterbacks. We're going to get to the second next.
When you're on the pitch clock and don't have time for your favorite Seattle sports shows, listen to the podcasts on demand.
How about that? Unbelievable. Who would have thought?
Every hour, every interview, every look behind the scenes.
Dan Wilson's the new skipper.
This is a window. This is a time where we can get it done, and that's the hope. That's the vision for this club.
Find us on SeattleSports.com, the Seattle Sports app, or wherever you get podcasts.
Holy smokes!
Never miss a minute of Seattle sports, the home of the Mariners.
What's up? It's Michael Bumpus for Silver Reef Casino. I went down last week and I took the drive. It was a nice drive, actually. You go up I-5, you get off 260, make a left, and you are there. When I got there, I was not disappointed with the Deluxe King room. I had a nice little view. I got relaxed, got comfortable. They put some money in my pocket, so I went downstairs and visited the steakhouse, had me a nice steak. I went by the cantina, had to check it out. It's new. The vibes were awesome. When I was done there, it was time to watch some ball. I went to Portage Bay Sports Bar. There were TVs everywhere. The service was on point. The people were nice. It was a great situation to have myself a good time. I didn't get a chance to play any golf, but I did visit Louisville Golf Course, and I hit the range. It went into the historic clubhouse. I would recommend this for anybody, man. You're getting FOMO, don't worry about it. I got you covered. All you got to do is visit silverreefcasino.com, and they will hook you up, man. The vibes are good. I suggest it to anybody. Visit silverreefcasino.com.
Discover LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate Greg Nunn from Nunn Better Tax Resolution. So, Greg, not all tax resolution companies are the same. There are some that are definitely not local. There are others that don't quite know what they're doing even.
Well, I tell you, these ads that all of us hear, Fresh Start program, they make you feel like, hey, man, I can just easy peasy get my taxes written off. No. And I've had several clients actually come to me after going through that process, and they just get no response after a while. They're passed around from person to person. That doesn't happen at my firm.
You are familiar with the cases that come in. You're working on them.
I'm familiar with every case that comes into our office. And I know what's going on and have the ability to really advise our taxpayers very well on what to do.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn. Nunn Better Tax Resolution, from stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. Nunn Better Tax Resolution.
From groceries to home prices, the cost of living in Washington state keeps going up. Now, Olympia politicians are proposing the largest tax increases in state history. Don't be fooled. If taxes go up, we'll all pay even more. Washington needs lower costs, not higher taxes. Tell the politicians no by visiting www.affordablewashington.org. Paid for by the people for an affordable Washington. Top 5 contributors are Washington Alliance for a Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Amazon.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Collectors, Front Row Car Show is returning to Tacoma. Join us at the Greater Tacoma Convention Center on April 12th and 13th. Baseball, football, basketball, and hockey cards, plus collectibles such as Pokemon, Marvel, Star Wars, and comic books. SGC, CGC, and JSA will be there. So bring your cards, comics, and autographs to sell, trade, or get them graded. Hundreds of bidders, thousands of dollars in free prizes. Don't miss it. Front Row Card Show, Greater Tacoma Convention Center, Saturday and Sunday, April 12th and 13th, 11 to 5. For more info, go to frontrowcardshow.com. That's frontrowcardshow.com.
Call or click 811 before you dig. Anything that causes you to roll up your sleeves a little and dig in requires you to first connect with 811. Call or click 811 and visit safeexcavator.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Swedish Cyberknife is expanding. Dave Wyman with exciting news from our friends at Swedish. They're adding a second Cyberknife. Patients can now receive Cyberknife treatment at Swedish Cherry Hill and First Hill campuses. As many 710 listeners know, Cyberknife is a non-invasive, non-surgical treatment option for prostate cancer with proven results. It uses advanced technology to track your slightest body movements while adjusting in real time to deliver radiation with extreme precision. Healthy surrounding tissue and organs are spared from radiation. The end result? Excellent long-term cancer control and significantly reduced side effects. Compared with other radiation therapies, which last 6 to 9 weeks, the Cyberknife treatment period is typically only 5 days, with each session lasting less than an hour. When diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife-prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
The Seahawks have had 230 visits with quarterbacks. This one was actually a few weeks ago. Brady Henderson reporting back in March that Louisville quarterback Tyler Shough had a 30 visit with Seattle. We talked about it a bit at the time, but now I wanted to couple it with the visit with Milroe, just to kind of say, like, okay, back-to-back scouting reports on the back-to-back quarterbacks in reverse order that Seattle's visited with. So let's revisit everything we know about Tyler Shough. Now, I mentioned that Brady Henderson.
We know that he spells his name wrong.
Yeah, he needs to
sure.
fix that. You know, some people say I spell my name wrong, so I can kind of empathize with it. No one ever pronounces it right. Here's what Brady had to say about Seattle possibly taking a quarterback in the second round.
Could they do it this year? Yeah, I think they totally could. With the questions about Howell. Obviously, Darnold, like we said, is basically on a 1-year deal, and then they'll see. And the fact that they've got, quite a bit of draft capital to do it, you'd be looking at a day 2, day 3 guy all along. And so, yeah, I do know that they are bringing in or have brought in Tyler Shough, quarterback from Louisville, who's, 25 years old or something like that. He's quite a bit of experience. So if the concern previously has been that, the guy has not had a lot of reps and he won't get the reps that he needs. Well, that may not exist with a guy like Shough because, he's been he's played college football, I think, for 6-7 seasons now.
Okay, so let's have a similar approach to a scouting report, this time on Louisville quarterback Tyler Shough. What comes to mind with Tyler? What do we need to know?
My man is grown. He a grown man.
Yeah, he's
been in college football since 2018. 2018, he started with Oregon for 3 seasons. Didn't get many reps over there. Transferred to Texas Tech. He was there for 3. Then ended at Louisville. This guy, last year, he completed 62% of his passes, 3,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Watched a few games of him. What I like about him is his compact throwing motion and a quick release. Like, he gets the football out really quickly, and he's very composed. There were times when I was watching the Miami game to where he's getting pressure. He knows he's responsible for that guy, right? If you bring 6 and you're releasing the running back, it's simple math. The offensive line can only pick up 5. The quarterback's responsible for 1. And he'll wait till the very last second to go to his check down. So even when there's chaos going on all around him, he's capable of standing in the pocket, being big, which he is, 6'5", 225 pounds, and checking it down to the running back. I love the way he resets his feet, too. When he goes through his progressions, sometimes there are mirrored concepts. So mirrored just means that one side of the field is running the same concept as the other side. And your pre-snap will take you to one side of the field and say, all right, I think this is going to be open. If it's not open, maybe the safeties rotate. You see a different coverage. You have cover 2 to one side, cover 4 to the other side. You reset your feet and you read the other side. And he's really good at resetting his feet and reading to the other side. And I mentioned that he's responsible with the checkdowns. Only had 6 interceptions last year. He had a 4-touchdown game against Miami, a 3-touchdown game against Notre Dame. The thing that gets him in trouble, sometimes he can be a bit inaccurate. 53% completion rate against Clemson, 58% completion rate against Virginia, and 58% against Notre Dame. But this guy, when you compare him and Milroe, this guy's ready to go right now. Not ready to go in the sense that he's going to hop on a team, run it, take them to the playoffs, no. But when it comes to just playing the quarterback position the way that most GMs and offensive coordinators want you to play it, he plays it that way because he's not as athletic as Milroe. Milroe brings other things to the table, which can be an advantage to some offensive coordinators. But no, it's the poise of this guy that I like. He has good ball placement on tight coverages, too. And he's not afraid to put it in tight windows or over the shoulder or back shoulder that thing when he sees man and his receivers aren't wide open. So, no, I like it. I understand why GMs and scouts like this young man. He's a big boy. He's mature, right? He's, 26, 25 years old or something like that? Born in the 90s. Born in the 90s. And his game reflects that. His game reflects the maturity that he has with his age. So, no, I get it. There's just a couple times where he gets inaccurate, and that's typically starts just with your base.
Here's my question about now comparing the ages between the two quarterbacks. I know that last year when Michael Penix was drafted at 24, people were like, stop talking about his age. It's not fair. But it is important, even if it's just a year or two, when it comes to developing a quarterback, because these are invaluable years of an incredibly cheap contract on the most expensive position in football. Both of these guys would probably benefit, particularly Milroe, but certainly both, absolutely both, from sitting behind another quarterback. Let's say you bring in Milroe. He's 22. It's okay. If he sits behind Sam Darnold for the length of Sam Darnold's time here, he's going to be the age Tyler Shough is now before he hits the field. Tyler Shough, a 25-year-old, sitting behind 27-year-old Sam Darnold, let's say it's a year or two, then what? Like, he starts for you at 20. It's not like you're old. That it still can be in a great kind of prime year for quarterbacks, but it feels like the age difference between the two matters when you're talking about developmental quarterbacks.
Yeah, and, I mean, we saw Michael Penix. He's he's a young man, but when you talk about football, this is 24, 25 years of age. We saw Bo Nix. He's an older quarterback as well.
Yeah, they're washed.
Dylan Gabriel is an older quarterback. Yeah. I think that's something we're just going to see more of because of the way that college football is. Transfer portal, NILs, there's less incentive to go ahead and be a 6th-round pick if you're getting $1 million in college. You just stay put and you make your money. It could be seen as a knock, but I see it as a positive, honestly, because not only do you want someone who is going to show up every day, put in the work, and be responsible. You want someone off the field that's responsible. And let me tell you, Stacy, I didn't really get responsible until about 26, 27. You know what I'm saying? Even then, it was suspect at times, right? It's just developmentally, you're just in a different place. So, and quarterbacks are built different in general. They typically are the more mature players on the football team. So I see it as a positive, man. And I think that him having multiple stops in his college career too, people can see that as a negative. I see that as a positive too. You've been to Oregon, you see how that system is ran. I'm sure scouts have talked to the Oregon guys to say, okay, how did he pick up this offense? You go to Texas Tech, how did he pick up this offense? You finish at Louisville as a starter. So there are some negatives when it comes to bouncing around, or perceived negatives, because your first thing is, why isn't he fighting through it? Sure. Why is he sticking around? But, this is a different age when it comes to college football. Guys are trying to set themselves up for success. And it seems like it worked for him because he's going to get drafted this year.
Best version of Tyler Shough How is he different from Milroe, and what does he look like?
He's just more polished. He's a polished-up quarterback. You could, I'm sure Milroe has played quarterback for the majority of his life, but I guarantee you Shough has probably played no other position than quarterback. Okay. You can just see it in his eyes, his feet, his release. He's just polished up. Whereas Milroe, I'm sure he's played safety at some point. He's just that type of athlete. He's so athletic. Not a knock on him, but when you have an athlete like that at the younger years of playing ball, you want him to touch the ball. You want him to play every position. Shough has been a quarterback since he was like 5.
Who would be a better fit in the Kubiak offense? That's Bump's first question for 4 Down Territory coming up at 11:15. Rowland-Smith joins us next.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans?
With Seahawks President of Football Operations and General Manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
If you've been in a wreck or a fender bender,
you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
we meet by accident, fixing every last dent. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last dent. Accurate Auto Body.
Here it comes, the second huge online equipment auction of the year. Produced by the James G. Murphy Company. Bidding is underway now and closes at 10 a.m. Wednesday the 17th. Over 800 items are on the block, including heavy equipment, trucks, and logging gear, including a 2016 Link-Belt 210 XT TLN log loader, a 2014 CAT 320 DFM log loader, and a 2014 Komatsu 931.1 forwarder. If you're looking for construction equipment, we got 16 excavators, 5 wheel loaders, 4 backhoes, and 2 pavers. Plus, there's a great selection of 12 late model dump trucks, including 5 Peterbilt 367s from model year 2013 to 2020. Check out all this gear in person during inspection days, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tuesday the 15th and Wednesday, April 16th at our Marysville location. Bidding is underway now. For pictures and all details, check out murphyauction.com. That's murphyauction.com. murphyauction.com.
Jake was suffering from osteoarthritis when his doctors asked him to consider surgery.
However, there's a 9-month recovery period where essentially you're not walking and you're not putting much in the way of weight on.
That wasn't going to work for him, so he decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I heard the ads, and that caused me to do due diligence.
And how are you doing now?
There's not really any pain now at all. I have no limitations in what I want to do.
Wow, so you're able to do anything you want to do?
I recently played golf at Cycle House down in Pebble Beach, walked 18 holes, which I hadn't been able to do for a number of years, and then went for about a 2-mile walk with my friend.
I take it you'd recommend stem cell therapy to others then?
Absolutely. Had I known then what I know now, I would have done this several years ago and saved myself a lot of pain and suffering and agony and limitation to activity.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you? I just wanted to request a late checkout, please.
Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours.
Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours.
Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Hey, it's Ryan Rowland-Smith for Eastside Weight Loss. I have struggled with weight my whole life, and honestly, at times, I hated the way I looked in the mirror, and especially on TV. As a former athlete, I've tried every workout under the sun. Yeah, I can get in good shape, but you can't outwork a bad diet. I tried every new age dieting technique, supplement, protein powder, counting calories, you name it, and just got sick of all the noise. So I decided to schedule a free 15-minute consultation after hearing the ads and questioning if some of these success stories and weight loss stories were real. After speaking with Dr. Coogan, it all made perfect sense. Yes, it was going to take some discipline, but trust me, the results were well worth it. So since that phone call, it's been 60 days. I have dropped 30 pounds of body fat. I feel amazing, sleeping great, and the best part, I have a plan to keep the weight off. If you're looking for real results, do what I did, block out the noise, and get on a plan that gets you the results. Go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com for that free 15-minute consultation. It has truly been a life changer.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, DC. Results may vary.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
A Mariners roster move this morning. The M's have optioned Luis F. Castillo, who pitched yesterday, to AAA Tacoma. Former Packers Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams aren't with the Jets anymore, but one former Green Bay player is staying this morning. Wide receiver Alan Lazard took a pay cut to stay in New York. This after being given permission to seek a trade in early March.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Ryan Rowland-Smith joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. A lot to talk about after a big comeback win for Seattle. As a reminder, Ryan's weekly Thursday visit with us is brought to you by Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Ryan, how's it going?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're great. I'm feeling good. I thought I'd be talking about a loss, through 8 2/3. And then all of a sudden the Mariners decided to tack on 7 runs and win this thing. What to you, and you have a lot of plays to choose from, a grand slam, a walk-off win, an important double. What to you felt like maybe the most pivotal moment or the one that stuck with you?
Well, there's a couple. Obviously, going to the 8th inning, the fact that the team was... you get a load of bases, none out, and the team had an 0 for 18 run with runners in scoring position. And you're looking at this guy, oh man, this is just, not only is this going to be a loss when you're looking at load of bases, none out, but this is going to be something where we're going to talk about it right now. Fans are just going to be so angry because it's going to be under the microscope as to this team cannot get it done offensively when it counts. And so Randy Rosarina, man, he wiped all that away. Again, it wasn't a great performance when it counted. It wasn't a great, I'm talking about the first 7 innings offensively. There were some times there where, you could have gone for the throat for sure, and you had some opportunities to do that. But you're facing Hunter Brown, who's been really good this year. So all that, and then he comes up, hits the grand slam, which was unreal with 2 out. And then from there, it's like everything shifted. All of a sudden, in that 9th inning, you got a guy in Brian Abreu who just could not land that slider of his, and that's his big weapon. He couldn't land it. And you can look at that and say, oh, well, look, he couldn't land that pitch, therefore you should be able to jump all over him. But that's not how it works. You have to put together good at-bats. You have to communicate. The top step of the dugout, you got to communicate on deck with who – your hitting coach, all these little things that happen, say, listen, let's eliminate this pitch. And then on top of that, 60 feet away from it, you got to have confidence to do it. And so that 9th inning, man, that spoke volumes. This team is getting on base, and it's not just a couple guys, it's everyone. Even Miles Mastrobonis had, 12 at-bats, and the dude's still, having unreal at-bats. So up and down the lineup, they're recognizing pitches. They're adjusting to what they're seeing 60 feet away. And I just think that's something really to build off moving forward.
I think something everyone needed to see, Ryan, was Julio have a clutch moment, right? Just slap that thing out to right. What did you like about his approach at the plate?
Well, man, there was a little bit of chase in there in the beginning of that at bat, and you're sitting there going, hey, again, like just what we were talking about. I kept saying on the radio, I'm like, hey, look, Brian Abreu cannot land this slider to save his life right now. By the way, the guy, for whatever reason, he's been one of the toughest dudes to make contact off in the big leagues, and he's been so steady. But in the ninth inning, for whatever reason, in save opportunities, he can't get it done. And so I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, okay, if he is just going to stay fastball in some of these leverage counts, has to be inside the strike zone, and it has to be up. See something up. You saw Mitch Garver kind of freeze on that pitch down because he's looking for something up and something that's straight. And then Julio, there's a little bit of chase there, and then again. We've seen this a few times last year. He did this to Mason Miller last year in Oakland at the Coliseum, where he just kind of steps out, calls time. He's got plus pitching. He's just missed a pitch out of the strike zone, and the chase has gone up again, which, again, this year the chase has been really good with Julio. And then he just reset. And then it just, again, easier said than done, threw the hands out there and said, I'm just going to make plus contact. I know you're going to throw this fastball away. You're not trying to. You're pulling across your body so much, and that's, man. Again, that was huge. And you mentioned just the clutch moment, little things like that. It just makes such a difference in a clubhouse, man. And to do it late like that was huge.
Ryan, I think it was Jeff Passan on with Brock and Salk, either this week or last, but they were talking about runners in scoring position, how the Mariners had struggled with it last year, how we'd seen signs of it again. Clearly this season. And Jeff said, look, it's hard to be that bad for that long. Like you can expect a regression to the mean, and it's kind of hard to control, but sometimes that needs to mean coaching. When he said like coaching can be part of improving that, what does that mean? And what does it mean to you?
Well, I think, coaching is, it goes a couple different ways. So this is not a coaching when you think coaching, hey, look, Julio, let's drop your hands and try this, and oh wow, look at that. Now we're going to try and it's more about, like we were talking about earlier, the approach, right? So you talk about runners in scoring position. Last year was bad, and I think that there was a lot of confusion and a lot of trying to reinvent the wheel early. Towards the end of the year, we all talk about when Edgar stepped in. Was it because of the coaching when you're talking about trying to add something more to the approach? I think it was taking something away. In other words, I think when you have someone and a voice like that in Edgar Martinez at the end of last year, it was eliminating some of the noise. It was eliminating some of the process, which is huge. And especially when you got athletes, man, when you got really athletic dudes in the lineup, let them be athletes. I've said that 1,000 times. So you have that. Now when you walk into this year, I still feel like, and I said this a little bit yesterday to some people, Dan Wilson, first of all, is, from a managerial standpoint, still trying to learn, all right, who can I send off green light people when we're talking about stealing bases? And they're running a lot. They're trying to get a sense and a taste of who they can send off. Eric Young Jr., who can you say, hey, listen, give this dude the green light? The same goes on the hitting side in regards to approach, right? So, like, Kevin Seitzer, who him and Edgar Martinez they parallel think, like they are on the same page with everything. And I think even with Kevin Seitzer, he's still, you could hang out with guys all you want in spring training, but when it comes down to when there's big moments, you have to know, okay, when I have a hitter in that big spot, how am I going to, what are the words I'm going to say right before he gets up to hit? What are the words I'm going to say the next day to reset him if he's starting to struggle? Because this game, man, it is so hard. And it just snowballs on you. And you have that feeling and that taste in your mouth from 2024, not being able to get it done when it counts, strikeout numbers and what have you. So I think when you talk about coaching, I think that's a situation where you really have to understand, do you add, subtract at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock when you're in the cage, and also those seconds before a guy gets up there and says, hey, look, Brian, classic example, Brian Abreu, eliminate that slider. Try and hit the ball to right field. He's going to throw you something down and away. Can that hitter handle that? Or is it a situation, hey, man, just see the ball up and just crush? or hey, look, just make sure you see, whatever the words are. So I think he's still trying to figure that out too. You can spend 3 months of spring training, but it doesn't matter until you get into game situation. We're still, again, only a handful of games into this thing where he's really trying to, when you talk from a coaching level, I think he's still trying to figure out these guys as well.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of different names so far this year, right? Where the guys being called up, the lineup being shifted, pitch hitters, and all that good stuff. And kind of going back to that, how do you feel like he's handled all this movement so far?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing too. Everyone talks about the different lineups, and they've kind of had to, right? Due to the fact that Polanco right now, your best hitter, swinging from the right side is a struggle. You lose Victor Robles, so you have to. You want to be dynamic, and you got to sort of adjust what you do at the top of the lineup. Dylan Moore led off yesterday because he's hitting the ball well and he's got some speed. So that's the other part of it too. All right, who hits behind who? Who enjoys hitting behind who? I'll give you an example. Yordan Alvarez said flat out, "I am not hitting behind Jose Altuve." Like for the Houston Astros, he can obviously warrant that action because he's so good. The reason why is because Altuve doesn't see any pitches. He just goes up swinging. Yordan Alvarez wants to kind of gauge an approach. He wants to watch spin in the on-deck circle, and he wants to have some time to take a breath and really feel out the pitcher. It's the same thing, man. The Mariners, we may not talk about it publicly, but there's the same thing. You got to figure out who can, and beyond numbers, but who feels good in what spot, who feels good hitting behind who, and everything else. And it's tough, man. They adjust the lineup so much, and that's the other adjustment too in regards to a coaching and an approach. How you word things to guys, especially right before they're going to go up, or facing a pitcher. Like for example, you're facing DeGrom tomorrow night. Okay, how do I word it with these guys? With individuals, you can't just say, "Oh, he throws this pitch, that pitch." There's a certain way to go about it to make sure guys are 100% confident, feeling really good about their swing and their approach.
Would you prefer they didn't adjust the lineup as much?
Honestly, at the moment, I don't think they have a choice. Just
True.
because
Have to replace some guys.
Yeah, Robles, Bliss, and Polanco. The fact he's only going to be able to face righties right now. But I really feel like when you have that stability, I've talked to hitters, guys I've played with and against on other teams. When you have that stability, when you know who you're hitting behind, it does help. Everyone might be different. Some guys, and by the way, there's still some guys that, like, I'll give you an example. Dylan Moore's like, hey, yeah, I'll go lead off. Are you kidding? Because he wants to play every day, A, and B, he wants to be at the top part of the lineup. He doesn't want to be like, oh, I'm going to hit 8 again. I'm only able to face righties, or whatever it may be. So, lefties. So, like, yeah, 100%. I still feel like there's a couple names in this lineup that, like, they're still trying to push to that top part of the lineup or a place where they hit a couple years ago. However, when you have that stability, man, I think it really, really helps. I really do.
It's so hard to even ask you this question because I look at other sports and say football, you have a great game plan. And you say, okay, we figured something out. All right, we're going to build off this. We're going to build off this game plan. These are the players we're going to run. With baseball, it seems so sporadic. Sometimes you're seeing the pitches, sometimes you're not. Sometimes defensively you're good. So how do you build off of what you did yesterday?
Yeah, man, it's tough. And again, you face Hunter Brown, who's been really good this year, but you faced him a bunch, and you kind of know his patterns from facing before. But guys, out of pitch, they're getting this streak where all of a sudden they can land a breaking ball when they're behind the count. Like, I'll give you an example, Hunter Brown, right? So Hunter Brown's like going into that game from again, comparing it to other sports, to your question, going into that game, when you look at the splits, Hunter Brown is so vulnerable when he slips behind in the count. Like, it's massive. Yet, if he's gone 0-1, 0-2, well, then guess what? You have to start adjusting. Now you have to start saying, all right, I'm going to see more fastballs at the top of the strike zone as opposed to, man, I was kind of counting on him going 2-0, 2-1 and jumping on something a little bit earlier, middle of the plate, or him trying to throw that little cut fastball he tried to throw last year and just got belted middle of the way through the year. So it's tough, man, because baseball's constantly changing, guys. And I'll be honest with me, man, I'll be facing the Tampa Bay Rays in July, and my curveball was working. Right, and then 2 months later, it's like I've kind of back pocketed that pitch. I'm just going straight sliders and changeups now, and so they're going off a scouting report from from what they've seen in the past from 60 feet away, and it's completely different. Baseball's very tough like that. Hence the fact you see, a 10-0 win one day, then you see a 1-0 game the next day. But you just have to go off patterns, and you have to trust your advanced scouting, what they're seeing lately from certain players.
Something that a lot of people were dissecting last year was the Mariners' offensive philosophy and their approach to the plate. I think that was just a byproduct of all of us trying to figure out what's going on. What are all the things with offense we can talk about? And, it starts out with, do you have the right guys? And then you get into these abstract things about philosophy, approach, how you're scheming the lineup and everything. Because it was so much something we talked about last year, I'm curious whether you've seen any changes at all this year, what you think about their approach to the plate, what you could tell us about your understanding of how they like to do things.
Yeah, I think you're seeing more of a contact-first approach. You're seeing more of a, excuse me, guys stealing bases. You've got guys in the line who can do it, and it's that more urgency to push guys an extra 90 feet as opposed to last year. It was kind of staying put because, it was, there's more value letting the guy hit and, trying to drive a ball, as opposed to this year, you're seeing just a little bit more contact first. I really think that. Again, it's something that you don't really know until you get into what you have, in other words, with these hitters and your lineup and how it shapes out, who does good things at what part of the lineup and everything, until you get into May. I still feel like there's a little bit of that, like I said, residual effect of last year with the strikeouts and everything else. But you are not starting to see, you're seeing it right out of the gates. I mean, the fact that guys are just taken off. I think Eric Young Jr. helps out massively over at first base. I've heard multiple guys say, man, he just picks up things. That's huge. They're running way more. They're taking extra bases, being a little bit more aggressive. You're seeing a little bit of a more contact, extra 90 feet approach, more so than what we saw the last couple of years. That's for sure. Just sitting back, waiting for a 3-run bomb. I just don't think, do you need to do that? No, I'm not trying to be old school, but this lineup, you got enough speed there. Disrupt the pitching. Get that extra 90 feet. I think you're seeing more of that.
Random question for you. So yesterday,
better not be about the Masters.
No, it's not.
Not.
Even though I love me some Masters, but I was in Eggers yesterday, and I was having a little friendly heckle with who was it, Dubon, and I just yelled at him, "Hey man, you're not Altuve. Where's Altuve?" He looks back and he laughs a little bit.
Funny.
What's one of the funnier moments you've had with fans trying to heckle you a little bit?
Oh God, where do I start, man?
That's a great question.
The heckling for me was, I used to wear glasses when I pitched. I'm Australian. That's pretty easy. Hyphenated name. Oh, you took your wife's name. What are you doing? There was that. And I was like, I'm not married. I'm yelling at it like a teenager. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? There's plenty of that. The best ever, though, I'll be real quick on this one. The best ever heckle I heard, it wasn't on me, which is good. But, man, we were like, I felt bad. We had I'll throw him under the bus here. Roy Corcoran. We had this pitcher, Roy Corcoran. He was really small. He was just a small stature. He's from Slaughter, Louisiana, Southern Cajun. Anyway, well, I always noticed. I'm like, man, he's got really small feet. It's kind of freakishly small. His feet are kind of small, right? But I just a thought in the back of my mind, nothing big. We're in Baltimore. And I know you guys probably too young for this, but back in the day, they used to have Reebok used to sell these shoes for little babies and kids. They're called Weeboks, right?
Yeah.
Literally said Weebok. I don't know if anyone remembers that. People are like, what is he talking about? Well, anyway, we're in Baltimore, and they got the bullpen's classic heckling territory because you got this bar right above us, and we're all and we're under there. He comes out to start warming up, and they're like, "Oh, hey, look at this guy!" They're trying hard. They got nothing, right? They got no, and we're like, "Oh, this is lame." And they're usually pretty good at Baltimore. They've had a couple beers in them. Well, anyway, they're like, "Oh, Australia." They're like, and by the way, he was wearing Reeboks, right? and they looked, and they're like, "Oh, look at his feet. Look at his little feet. He's wearing Weeboks like this." And they're just like, "Oh, he's got Weeboks on." And we're all in the dugout. We're and so by the way, he's warming up. We're like 5 feet from him, just dying laughing. And we're covering. He's got to go in and pitch. Oh, it was brutal. And he's giving us the stink eye. And we're oh my God. Dude, they just kept peppering. And then they spotted our bullpen coach chuckling. So they doubled down. It was so bad. He had to go in and pitch, and we all just bursted out laughing when he got in there to pitch. After the game, he was so mad. Oh, my God. But it was classic. It was the best heckling moment I think I've ever had.
That's awesome.
Like, my stomach was hurting. I was just trying to hold the laugh.
Do you remember how he did? Like, did he go out and just like?
I'm actually, I can't exactly remember. I am going to look it up though. Roy Corcoran, Baltimore. This is like 2008. Because as you're saying that, I'm like, I'm actually going to go back and see how he did. I'm sure he did fine. Everyone was bad that year. This is 2008, Stacy. It was brutal. Everyone was giving it up.
It's the
So
recession,
heckle away. It didn't matter.
It was a tough time. He is Ryan Rowland-Smith. Ryan, thanks so much.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, that's really funny. Let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, who would be a better fit in the Kubiak offense, Milroe or Shough?
See, I went back to Kubiak's just history, right? Spent some time in Minnesota, had Kirk Cousins over there. Then he goes over to the Broncos as the pass game coordinator. You got Russell Wilson. You're in San Francisco. You have Brock Purdy. Go to New Orleans. You have Derek Carr. All that is telling me that Shough is the type of quarterback that he's dealt with for most of his career. And he doesn't design a lot of runs for his quarterback. So just going off of who he's dealt with and who he's been around, I'm going to say that Shough is probably the better quarterback in this type of offense. But there's always a piece of a playbook that coordinators just don't really tap into. Maybe he has the mobile quarterback portion of that playbook. Just going off of what I know and what I've seen and who he's worked with, I'm going to say Shough. But there's always something that a mobile quarterback brings out of a coordinator, maybe expands his portfolio just a little bit. But so far, yeah, it's probably Shough.
I'm so glad you asked that question. We still have people on the Mac and Jack's text line going, good question. I'm dying.
That was a great story.
That was a great story. Second down. What's something people may have confused about what a run-heavy offense actually means?
So run-heavy, the people think that they're just going to run the heck out of the football. Like, we're running the ball 35, 40 times when that's not really it. I want people to think of a run-heavy offense as that's the first punch that's going to be thrown. You're going to throw your jab, you're going to throw your jab, you're going to take your shots. But even in run-heavy offenses, when you think of one of the more run-heavy offenses, the Baltimore Ravens, there are games where your quarterback has to win you ball games. There are games where they're going to load the box with 7, 8 bodies and challenge you to throw it on the outside. And you still got to run the ball and throw your jabs. But there's going to be a game, I don't want this to happen all the time, but there's going to be a game where Sam Darnold has to throw the ball 35, 40 times to win the ball game because of what a defense is taking away. So a run-heavy offense doesn't necessarily mean that's all you're going to do. That's just the first punch that's going to be thrown, and it's going to be thrown often. But there are days where you spread them out and you just let it go because you feel like there's advantages in other places on the field.
Third down. Why do you like the so-called new mentality of Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray said, I have to run the ball more. I'm going to run the football more. And the most he's ever ran was in 2020. He rushed for 819 yards and 11 touchdowns. If you have a quarterback who can run the football, use him. We're getting away from this. Look, we don't want your quarterback to get hurt. Let's limit his hits. Yeah, I understand that, and you should think like that, but quarterbacks have to understand when to go down and when to get out of bounds. But if you have a quarterback that can run, that makes the defense have to account for another body. When they don't have to account for another body, they drop back into their zone, they play man, and you're good to go. If your quarterback scrambles randomly and gets some yards, then so be it. But this is a dynamic that I think can help Kyler Murray get back into his groove, man. I know we make fun of him for his Call of Duty and the contract and all that. He for sure got some Weebox.
Sure. I'm going to Google
got some Weebox.
What a cute name, too. Weebox.
Weebox. But this
so
should
clever.
definitely be a part of his game next year. It just opens up the playbook. It makes the defense always have to account for him. They already do that. It's Kyler Murray. You know that he can run the football. He rushed for 572 and 5 touchdowns last year. I like this mentality, man. He's going to be able to make some plays with his feet, and now that brings the defense in, makes the linebacker step down. You go over the top to your weapons, Marvin Harrison Jr. over there, and things are good. Just don't do it against Seahawks.
Please look at this shoe. Weebox.
Weebox.
I'm just imagining.
That's the perfect name.
Do you think Tyler Lockett? See, I got myself confused with talking about undersized players. Do you think Kyler is kind of like, not unfairly, but maybe surprisingly kind of slipped to background talk? I mean, this was a guy who got a massive extension, was a #1 overall pick, face of the franchise. And even though the Cardinals haven't been wildly successful as a postseason team, has still found himself making headlines a ton. And then it's like last year, no one was really talking about him much.
No, and he had a decent season last year. 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 3,800 yards, rushed for 572. the Arizona Cardinals are quietly becoming a better team. And if he decides to run the football, it's going to be hard for a lot of people.
4th down. In honor of the Masters, who do you think would be the best golfer on the Seahawks? Matt, don't you dare.
Best golfer on the Seahawks.
I knew that you would do it.
You always got to start in 2 places, with the kickers and the quarterbacks, because they don't have to put as much strain on their body throughout the weeks. So it has to be Sam Darnold. If you are a quarterback and you are not one of the best golfers on your football team, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing?
What?
Quarterbacks are always Aaron Rodgers, great golfer. Tony Romo, great golfer. Quarterbacks are always the top 3 or 4 best golfers on the team because they can go out and play 18 and come back to practice because their body ain't going to be under that much stress. And the kickers can go out. The kickers drive me nuts. You should watch the kickers at practice.
Oh, I bet they golf at football practice.
They play a game
where
it's like
field.
golf. They literally play a game like golf at practice. So has to be the quarterback and kickers. If your quarterback and kickers are not the better golfers on your football team, cut them. Simple. Cut them.
What if Lamar's a horrible golfer?
Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
He gets a pass. I mean, you throw 40 touchdowns.
Got him.
You get a pass.
The new Netflix series chronicling the 2024 Red Sox season shows scouting reports Boston had for the Mariners before last year's opening day, and it's very eye-opening. That's next.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans?
With Seahawks President of Football Operations and General Manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks, and I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO, Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call a physical therapist directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
Discover LeMay, America's Car Museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and a Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? What if you could create more impact in every decision? What if you had a partner as visionary as you are? With Bank of America, you get access to our trusted experts, real-time insights, and digital tools. So whether you run a local shop or a global enterprise, you're backed by business solutions to make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
For many of us, it's happening. Your hair is thinning, your crown is disappearing. Hair loss had me feeling like I was losing my identity altogether. Well, I've got some good news. It's a simple one-day treatment that worked for me. The Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. It starts growing new hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly memberships, Those can help retain what you have. But what if you want your own natural hair in specific areas like I did? You decide how much, how thick, and where. From advanced hair's state-of-the-art facilities to the world-class leading doctors like Dr. Perungo, it's not a maybe your hair will grow. It's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 425-449-8185. Advanced Hair is the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and they are the team that I personally recommend. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Hi, this is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Spring has sprung. Need color to brighten up your yard or privacy trees to keep your neighbors guessing? Now is the time to buy. With hundreds of trees arriving in the nursery daily, Big Trees has the perfect tree for you. Check out our updated inventory list online at bigtreesupply.com or come visit the nursery today.
Here it comes, the second huge online equipment auction of the year, produced by the James G. Murphy Company. Bidding is underway now and closes at 10 a.m. Wednesday the 17th. Over 800 items are on the block, including heavy equipment, trucks, and logging gear, including a 2016 Link-Belt 210 XT TLN log loader, a 2014 CAT 320 DFM log loader, and a 2014 Komatsu 931.1 forwarder. If you're looking for construction equipment, we got 16 excavators, 5 wheel loaders, 4 backhoes, and 2 pavers. Plus, there's a great selection of 12 late model dump trucks, including 5 Peterbilt 367s from model year 2013 to 2020. Check out all this gear in person during inspection days, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tuesday the 15th and Wednesday, April 16th at our Marysville location. Bidding is underway now. For pictures and all details, check out murphyauction.com. That's murphyauction.com. murphyauction.com.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It's The Timeline on Bump and Stacy, reading you the top stories. What?
You said that differently.
Oh.
It's The Timeline. Usually.
It's The Timeline. Maybe I'm just trying a different approach.
I was scared for a second.
When you looked at me, I was like, am I doing the wrong segment? I was just scared. writing in a little tease for another segment. I thought, oh God, I'm looking at the wrong part of the show sheet.
I'm a routine type of guy. That threw me off a little bit, but I like it.
It's The Timeline on Bump and Stacy, reading you the top stories you're going to see and hear about on your own timeline. So what's trending in the world of sports and entertainment today? We're going to start with a new Netflix series chronicling the 2024 Red Sox season. It shows scouting reports. It's a great show, by the way. I've heard really good things about it. I watched a little bit of the first episode to go in and find this. Like, Curtis obviously cut it up, but I went in to see the context around it. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to go back and watch it this weekend. Anyways, it chronicles last season for the Red Sox. They had that opening day series against the Mariners, and so you get to see a little bit of insight on the scouting report that they're giving Boston's starter.
First hitter, J.P. Crawford. Attack him. Okay, very, very patient. All right. Julio Rodriguez, very, very aggressive. All he wants is the ball middle. Anything middle. Cambio middle, slider middle, that's all he can hit. Polanco, he's a good fastball hitter. Changeup's great anytime. Boy, he wants fastballs, so just pick and choose your spots. Garver, very, very passive hitter. Two-seam anytime.
Okay, so one thing for context, Julio does get a hit. A big hit in this game. They don't end up, I think, scoring a run in that inning. Like, they get into, the pitcher gets into a jam and then gets out of it with a double play by, I forget who had it, but whatever. So it's not like you see Julio just strike out and it looks awful. But that's the part of the breakdown that stuck with me. He can't hit anything else.
Let's be honest here. He struggles with anything else. That's why I was so impressed with what he did yesterday, because low and away, that's where you attack Julio. And for him to push it out there was awesome. But I love the insight, because it gives you an idea of how other teams just view your guys, you know. And sometimes it's affirmation. You're like, yep, that's the way I think about them. And sometimes it's like, all right, maybe I should adjust the way that I view this guy. I love the one about Polanco, fastball hitter, pick and choose your spots. A changeup is always good. Describe Garver as a passive hitter, and then you start thinking about at-bats that they've had throughout the season. You try to correlate those comments with what you've seen. No, I love stuff like this. Even if they are talking about our guys, I still like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always interesting insight to hear, what other teams and their scouts think. And look, they're never going to make it, I don't know. I would imagine they never make it sound overly insanely difficult. Like, I don't know if you can handle this guy, right? So it's always going to the point to give him a plan and give him confidence. Like, let him know there's a way out with this.
Yeah, everyone has their weakness.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is a little disheartening is not the right word. I don't like ever hearing like, this can be an easy team to pitch against. And you know that it's true, but you just think like, if an opposing pitching coach or bullpen coach knows this, the Mariners do too. What are you doing to fix it? What are you doing with the hitting? Like, I love celebrating this win and feeling great about it. There are fundamental issues, and I don't know how they're solving them.
No, it's just reps. That's all it is, repetition. And easier said than done. You have to be able to apply what you're being taught and take it to the game. Me, it's whatever. I guarantee you, when they talk about the Yankees lineup, they're still gonna point out weaknesses of Aaron Judge. He's not a perfect player. Ohtani has his weaknesses as well. But when you have seen the struggles that the Mariners have had in the batter's box, and you get this analysis, this commentary, it's like, yeah, I mean, their weaknesses are known, they're exposed, and teams are going to attack them. I would almost guarantee that the pitching coach is a bit more cautious when he talks about guys with our teams with crazy rosters like Dodgers and Yankees. But yeah, man, this is the reality of our situation. Everything that he said, I replayed in my mind, and I told myself that makes complete sense.
In an interview with Dan Patrick, ESPN Masters host Scott Van Pelt said golf could stand to speed things up.
I was part of the TGL launch this year. They have a clock. You see it. And the one person that got a violation, I believe there was only one, and it was Tiger, which that's how you know it's real. If they're gonna call a violation on him, then it's a real thing. Bottom line is, yeah, golf would benefit greatly if there was sort of a clock that we knew when it started and when it hit zero, you get a warning and then you get a penalty, because the game does take a long time to get moving.
Could golf use its own version of the shot clock?
No, listen, that's SVP, right? I need you to calm down with that, because when I tell my significant other that I'm out playing golf for 4.5, 5 hours, 6, okay? I need that 19th hole. I need that post beer. Chill.
Yeah, you need to be able to be like, we spent, 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But when it comes to actual golf, I wouldn't be opposed to that at all, because it does take a long time. That's why there's a pitch clock in baseball now, 2.5 hour games, unless you're going into to extra innings. No, I like that. It would change the strategy of golf, but the thing that would be tough to kind of monitor is how fast they're walking to their ball, because you can take your time to your ball, kind of figure out what you want to do. When are they going to start the clock? Is it as soon as they grab their club? There's some other questions I have, but I wouldn't be opposed to that, man. I would love to watch as much golf as I can in about 3.5 hours on TV.
What to you takes the longest? Like, what to you is kind of like, okay, do we need all this?
It's the talking back and forth with the golfer and the caddy, but when they wait for the wind to die down because it's too windy, they switch their clubs. Like, there's strategy in this game, which I appreciate, but sometimes it's just like, just commit and hit the dang ball.
Yeah.
But I'm a 9 handicap. I'm not a scratch like these guys, or below scratch.
Heading to the NBA, Luka Doncic spoke on the emotions he was feeling ahead of his return to Dallas.
Well, it was a little bit of both, happy and angry, but, it's nice to see some familiar faces here. I spent a lot of times with them. But like you said, it was a lot of emotions. When I woke up, I was tired. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't sleep much. excited about this game, and I really appreciate the fans, the way they reacted to me.
Luka was seen getting teary-eyed while sitting on the sideline before being introduced, thanks to a Mavs tribute video, and obviously lots of love from fans.
Yeah, I could imagine. He's angry at Nico because he didn't want to be in this situation. He's thankful for the fans because they clearly showed him love. I mean, he's dropping buckets, and they're going crazy wearing his Dallas Maverick jersey. But at the end of the day, Luka, you're in a better situation, dog. You're probably going to get a championship with these Lakers. When it's all said and done, he'll look back at it and be thankful for the trade. But in this moment, it's still fresh. The wounds are still fresh. So I appreciate him being honest about it, too. And, I like when I see athletes just show that raw emotion because, they put up a big front. At the end of the day, they're still people, and they feel things and go through stuff. So for him to cry before the game for sure and then drop 45 on him, even better.
Who's a player obviously trades are different because a player doesn't choose to do it, though there are times a player is traded to another team, like Russell Wilson to the Broncos, and people kind of knew, like, you wanted out, we hate you, lots of booing. Obviously, when people choose to leave, sometimes there can be bad relationships. Who's a player that, despite leaving for another team or even playing many years for other teams, remained beloved by that organization? Because I was also noticing, like, Mavs fans are almost rooting for Luka to spite the Mavs.
Yeah.
Because they were so angry with that decision.
Man. That's
a guy that, like, no matter where he went, people were just, I mean, a horrible example would be maybe Mariners fans and Griffey, despite him obviously having played elsewhere. They remained just.
It got a little icy right after he left for Cincinnati. Obviously, that thawed after years, and then he came back one time with the Reds.
Did he Bobby
played a
to
series.
the Rams? I wasn't, again, not a trade.
Yeah, no one
free
hated
agent
Bobby
signing.
for
I would say like Nelson Cruz. He's always been
Yeah,
very
that's a good
respected
one.
wherever he's gone.
Where people are like, no, I get it. We still love you.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, he threw out the first pitch at the I think the Twins season opener. I think he only played like a couple of years for the Twins, but people love the guy.
Have the Yankees faced the Mets?
Not yet.
Well,
Those fans.
do we think that's going to be an icy reception?
It's going to be bad.
Oh, that's going to be
They're
nasty.
gonna hate him.
That's going to be nasty.
They're gonna
If
be
Soto
booing
had
him.
picked any other team, I think Yankees fans would have.
No, he went across the bridge.
Right. He is still within sight. They still have to hear about him every single day on WFAN.
All right, you're listening to Bump and Stacy. Don't go anywhere.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
The Cal Raleigh Show.
Belted way out of here to right field. Holy smokes.
Every Thursday with Shannon Dreyer on Wyman and Bob.
Seattle has been nothing but good to me. I would love nothing more to play for one team my whole career.
Listen live on the Seattle Sports app or find the video on YouTube.
Cal Raleigh with a walk-off home run.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
47,000 fans are going crazy.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet, but we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is, like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found at G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, well, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just a bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them in the refrigerated section at Costco.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, Dream Engagement Rings are our specialty. We have the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds, hand-picked in every price range, ready to compare side by side. Shop online at shaneco.com. or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Bucky's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Bucky's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of their National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through April 20th. Stop by any of their participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Music that moves your soul. Live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, April 24th. Get tickets before they sell out at muckleshootcasino.com.
Bob Stelton here for Asset Roofing, and they have got the perfect slogan. You're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset, and I witnessed this firsthand when I met Anthony, the owner, and again when I had him do work on my roof. Now this spring, replace your aging roof with Asset Roofing because you're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Check them out at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Last year, the Mariners' offense was so bad that we started figuring out what are all the factors that are contributing to this. Like, we know that they have a talent gap. We know that we'd love to see them go out and make trades or spend more or whatever. Is there something else they're doing to themselves? And so much of it, I can't tell you, and Bump, I know you know this, how many questions and comments we'd get from listeners about offensive philosophy. So many people started going, you know, outside of just hitting coaches, maybe it's the philosophy. Maybe they're taking the wrong approach here. And so one of the questions we had for Rowland-Smith, and we're now 2 weeks into the season, was, all right, well, we know the philosophy is supposed to be like kind of a whole field approach. What do you see now? What's the philosophy look like now?
Yeah, I think you're seeing more of a contact-first approach. You're seeing more of a, excuse me, guys take, like, stealing bases. you've got guys in the line who can do it, and it's that more urgency to push guys an extra 90 feet as opposed to last year. It was kind of staying put because, it was, there's more value, letting the guy hit and, trying to drive a ball, as opposed to this year, you're seeing just a little bit more contact first. I really think that. And it's something that you don't really know until you get into what you have, in other words, with these hitters and your lineup and how it shapes out, who does good things at what part of the lineup and everything, until you get into May. I still feel like there's a little bit of that, like I said, residual effect of last year with the strikeouts and everything else. But you are not starting to see, you're seeing it right out of the gates. I mean, the fact that guys are just taken off. I think Eric Young Jr. helps out massively over at first base. I've heard multiple guys say, man, he just picks up things. That's huge. They're running way more. They're taking extra bases, being a little bit more aggressive. You're seeing a little bit of a more contact, extra 90 feet approach, more so than what we saw the last couple of years. That's for sure. Just sitting back, waiting for a 3-run bomb. I just don't think, do you need to do that? No, I'm not trying to be old school, but this lineup, you got enough speed there. Disrupt the pitching. Get that extra 90 feet. I think you're seeing more of that.
Bump, what do you think of Ryan's answer?
I like it. The Mariners are third in the majors with 20 stolen bases. 21 and 25 are the leaders. And it's almost like you got to do stuff like that. You have to be aggressive on the bases because, one, you don't get on very often. So let's steal as many as you can. And, you want to move runners over. And I think Mitch stole his first base this year. He's only got under 10 his whole career. The Dumper already has one. He had, 6 or 7 last year. Julio has 3 or 4 already. And I think that when you are deficient in one area, many areas offensively, you got to generate runs somehow. You got to create some excitement. Remember, there was a time a couple years ago where they were playing chaos ball, and we were like, hey, it is what it is.
And it was always like a 1-run, crazy record.
It was like you have to live in that chaos because you don't have the capabilities of just playing traditional ball and relying on your bats just to drive runs in all the time. So, no, I like it. It's like an underdog type of mentality. Unfortunately, it's been an underdog type of mentality for the last several years, but it is what it is. So, if you're not going to be efficient in the box, if you're not going to be efficient when it comes to driving and runners in scoring position, you have to do something. And having Eric Young at first base, obviously has helped these guys in that category.
I think that there are pros and cons to it. It certainly sounds like Ryan really appreciates it. I think the cons would be, one, you don't have a lot of contact hitters.
Right.
Which would make this, you look at Cleveland and you go, well, a similar approach works for them because of Quan or a few other pieces that they have. Secondly, I don't always want to just bunt so people feel like they're seeing small ball because often you can waste an out, that you don't have to waste. So it's like, hey, a sack bunt, maybe it's successful and you feel good about it and you moved runners over. All right, well, now you're in this dark hole of your lineup and what did it matter, right? And I think I don't love role-playing small ball just to do it. But overall, I appreciate the approach. I don't mind it at all. My lingering question is, you just lost 2 of your most athletic players for who knows how long.
Yeah. It's just a necessary approach. You got to be scrappy. If you're not going to be dominant, you're not going to be efficient, you have to be scrappy. And how do you do that? And that's why I appreciate Robles' effort out there. I know some people are like, man, just let that go foul. I understand that, but dogs are going to make plays. You got to be scrappy. You have to be good defensively. We saw JP jack up a play yesterday we're not used to seeing, right? Little things like that force you to be aggressive in other areas. And where can you physically be aggressive? That's on the bases, running bases. So I like it, man. Keep it up. Keep applying that pressure because eventually it's going to work out for you.
Is there a mentality you'd like to see? I mean, we're talking about offensive philosophy. Is there something that you think can affect play, affect outcome that maybe you aren't seeing so far with the Mariners?
It's hard to say because mentality doesn't show up
as much
in baseball as it does in other places. In football, you can tell when a team are headhunters and they're about to smack you. You can tell when they're a finesse or a run team. Basketball, you can tell if they're a zone type of team, everyone shoots threes nowadays, right? If they're three happy. In baseball, it's so between the ears, you don't really know what the mentality is. So that's why after a game like yesterday, you hope that the mentality showed itself. And then that's what this team is, or a team that is scrapping and is never going to give up. And every team wants to be that. I don't think these professionals go out there and get down 4 and say the game is over. You got to keep fighting back. but I'm sure other organizations push that more than others. Like, I doubt the Dodgers are saying, we got to be scrappy, guys. We got to take everything. They're like, nah, man, y'all go out and do your thing because we got a roster that is more than capable of winning has a chance to win every ball game when you're out there. Teams who don't have the firepower have to be scrappy. So it's hard to know exactly what the mentality is.
I really like that read, though, on yesterday's game because I was seeing some people very understandably say, yeah, it's a win, but you still left runners on and you still had offensive issues through most of the game. And I like that take about, like, you didn't fix the offense, but you can build on a mentality. That maybe what you're taking from that game isn't solutions at the plate, but a spark in a clubhouse.
Yeah, just like we're listening to the Red Sox talk about Julio and Polanco and what they do, what they don't do. You want the scouting report to be for the Mariners as a whole when they talk about this team is, look, you know, they're gonna try to steal every base that they can. You know, they're gonna play good defense, right? Those are the things you want your team to be. You want other teams to talk about your team. You want to hear those things, and you have to hear those things, or you have to be that way for the Mariners just because of the names in your lineup.
All right. Well, Mariners have an off day today. You have extra innings from 7 to 9 p.m. hosted by Curtis Rogers, and then they take on the Rangers. The Mariners, not Curtis. Tomorrow, open that series.
I think it would go very poorly.
I don't, man. I think it would be a fascinating watch.
I mean, if I had to pitch and there was no catcher, what's the point in swinging?
Curtis, I need you to answer very honestly with this question. You get, and Bump, I'll ask you too.
Mm-hmm.
A professional, like a starter, throws you 30 pitches. Are you making contact?
No.
100.
I'll try to. If I'm, am I allowed to
put
bunt?
the bat out there?
No, you guys are thinking yes.
Yeah.
You're thinking yes.
No, man, I ain't touching that thing.
No contact on 100 pitches.
If I know if he's throwing me straight gas, maybe I'll get lucky. Fastball, maybe I'll get lucky and make some contact.
Curtis.
My knees are gonna be buckling. I'm gonna be bailing on pitches.
So scared.
Yeah.
Being is hissing at you.
There are for sure people listening that was like, 15. I got him. Done.
Bones would say he would.
Yeah, absolutely. The Seahawks need a plan at quarterback, and it can't be kicking the can down the road. That's next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob. Weekdays 2 to 7.
Rowland-Smith with us.
I said Emerson Hancock was going to be the dude this year, and then he gives up a 6 spot there in the first inning.
Catching some heat on social media there.
I was.
You should have just responded, just going,
Yeah, that's a bracket looking. Dave, you impressed me. That's a pretty dialed-in American accent right there. It's not bad.
oh, yeah.
You sound like an American geek, but it's still good.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
This year, tee it up at home with Synthetic Turf Northwest. Dial in your yard and your short game is sure to follow. Synthetic Turf Northwest is your synthetic grass expert. Install a custom backyard putting green or just a mud and mow-free lawn the neighbors will envy. They do it all. Residential, commercial, and turf supply. With locations in Woodinville and soon Fife. Mention Seattle Sports and save up to $1,000 off your project. Visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers. T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
I've always been an athletic guy, but after turning 40, I noticed I was slowing down. I booked a free testosterone check with Revive Health and learned that low T doesn't just impact my performance in the bedroom. I've been following a custom treatment plan ever since, and today I'm feeling stronger and more confident than ever.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, text BOOST to 65555 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com to schedule your appointment. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help. Text stop to cancel. See privacy policy at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/privacy policy. For info on how opt-in info will be used and terms and conditions at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of short code service.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Breaking Mariners injury news. Infielder Ryan Bliss will have surgery to repair a torn left biceps and is expected to miss 4 to 5 months. The surgery will take place tomorrow. If you're wondering about the math on that timeline, a 5-month return from today would be September 10th. Mariners roster move. The M's have optioned Luis F. Castillo, who pitched yesterday, to AAA Tacoma. And finally, they do have an off day today, but you can still get your baseball fix with Extra Innings hosted by Curtis Rogers coming up at 7 p.m.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Bump, the Seahawks need a plan, not just for the approach to the draft and the offense and everything else they're doing this year, but particularly at quarterback. It feels like the plan for the last couple seasons has been kicking the can down the road, and they're not alone. A lot of teams do that. I mean, Kirk Cousins was kind of that guy for a while for Washington. We've seen Indianapolis do that before they drafted Richardson, and he may not work out at all. So you've seen many franchises go, look, we had this franchise guy. Then we didn't. And we found good starters or, veterans to come in, but we're still figuring it out. What do you think their plan should be?
plan should be to make Sam Darnold feel like he is the guy, that we believe in you, even though there's an out in this contract, but to make you feel like, look, next 3 years is going to be you. But at the same time, you need to be planning for the future just in case. And I think that's why you look at this draft. And I would like them to draft a quarterback. I would like them with their later picks, there's someone out there just to get a what if. You and I have had many conversations about how you don't really find that guy in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round. You got Brock Purdy, okay. We won't see that again in our lifetime. You got Russell Wilson in the 3rd round. But for the most part, these guys are developed in the 1st and 2nd rounds. Right? Out of all the quarterbacks in the playoffs this year, only one was not drafted in the 1st round. That was Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round.
Well, Russ snuck in there.
Oh, Russ did sneak in.
But
there.
but you're right.
Right. I think maybe it was like the 2nd round we were looking at, where only one guy remaining was the 2nd rounder.
Yes.
So the plan is always to have a break glass just in case type of approach at the quarterback spot. But we've seen over the past few years, like, John Schneider wants to draft a quarterback, but he hasn't really found his guy. So if I'm John Schneider, if there is a project, someone that you feel can develop in a couple years and he's available late, you go ahead and get it, because we don't know what Sam Darnold is going to do. I believe in him. I think he can be fine. I think we're going to find out maybe halfway, not even halfway, a quarter of the way through the season who he really is. But if I'm them, yeah, I'm planning for the future just in case Sam Darnold doesn't work out. And then you always need a quarterback on your roster anyway, because injuries happen.
The interesting thing about Sam Darnold is his age and his last season, right? And that seems like the most obvious thing you could say. But what made Geno from day one feel like a bridge for a lot of people was that he hadn't succeeded before, hadn't found a lot of success, had been benched or, sent from multiple teams, and that he had already been a backup for you. Sam Darnold has failed before. Sam Darnold has been benched. Sam Darnold has been a backup before. And yet, by virtue of being 27 and by virtue of coming off a 14-win season with the Vikings, I think people go, well, what if? I mean, this was a former number 3, I think, overall pick not that long ago. So maybe his draft stock adds some intrigue for people. I will admit that I don't know that Sam Darnold is your long-term answer. I think the Seahawks are open to the idea that he could be, but it feels like you need bites at the apple.
You do, because you go across the league and there's turnover at the quarterback position, and it's the most important position on your football team. And if you don't have something that is dang near guaranteed at that spot, you're always searching. Joe Burrow, guaranteed. Can we say Jared Goff at this point is guaranteed? Lamar, guaranteed. Mahomes, guaranteed. Got Herbert. Brock Purdy, I think, will be. We'll see what they decide to do with his contract. But really, outside of those guys, Jalen Hurts maybe. He's good to go. Out of those guys, they're 1 year away, one off year away from being replaced. And that's the category that Sam Darnold falls into. You're one off year away from being replaced. We want Sam Darnold to develop here. We want him to develop over what he did last year. But if he were to come out and throw 17 touchdowns 17 interceptions and 20 touchdowns, Hawks are going to be looking for another guy because you need consistency at that position. So it's an approach that 80% of teams are making every single year, trying to find that just in case or trying to find that bridge guy, or you're developing it young, right? There's that I have the elite of the elite. We're with this guy for a while. Let's wait and see what this 1 year looks like with this guy. Then you have the bridge guy, and then you have, we have a young guy. We have to develop him.
Do you think the Seahawks are going to – next year's quarterback class is much more intriguing for a lot of people. Let's say you fall in love with a guy who could go 2. I mean, if a team's picking at 1, they probably badly need a quarterback, so unlikely. I know we've seen it recently with the Panthers, but typically unlikely to – or excuse me, the Bears give up that spot. Would you make a trade in your mind? Because this is where I've settled. I feel like John Schneider is going to have to make some crazy move to get a high pick in 26 or 27 and find that guy. Do you see it that way too? Yeah, because I don't think they're going to be a horrible team this year. At worst case, like people say on the text lines a lot, they're just going to be a mediocre team and win 9 to 10 games and call it good. 10 wins for a team that has won a Super Bowl is disappointing, but not mediocre.
No, but that's the way people see it because
Yes, for sure.
this is what they've seen over the past several seasons. So they're like, yeah, it's just the same old stuff.
No, you're bored of it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to make a move. You're gonna have to do something crazy to move up because I don't see them picking inside the top 10.
No, I don't either. But I've settled on that being what they'll need to do. And maybe there are some people out there who really, really, really believe in Sam Darnold and think they found the answer. I think Sam Darnold works if the rest of your team is great. And we can look at the Eagles last year winning a Super Bowl with a quarterback that I don't know who on earth has Jalen Hurts as like a top 3 passer in the league. It doesn't mean he's not like, a great quarterback and not a really good starter, but they won as a result of the whole being greater than the sum of its parts. The Seahawks aren't close to being that team. I know that people can go, well, you don't look at Jalen. You don't need Patrick Mahomes to win a Super Bowl. You don't need Josh Allen to win a Super Bowl. Neither of them did last year. You just need a really good team. Okay, well, you think the Seahawks can do that in one offseason? I don't.
I think the defense is already really good. I think the defense is, if we had to pick a side of the football that we believe in, I think we're both probably picking the defense. And many people that we've spoken to agree that they have the potential to be a top 5 kind of defense. It's all about that offense. That's why you're bringing a new coordinator. You have a new quarterback and whatnot. They're under construction. The offense is still under construction. There's so many new pieces over there. New quarterback, new coordinator, new coaches on staff, new wide receiver group. Can JSN be the number 1 guy? Is this offensive scheme going to allow this line to perform at a different level? Lots of things have to happen, but I feel like a lot of teams are in the same boat, right? A lot of teams, and there's a shift going on in the league too that I think that people are not devaluing the quarterback position, but realizing that you just need the right one for your system. If you're not going to have the Hall of Famer, which you build around, you get a quarterback that fits what you need and be stellar in other places. The defense has to be stellar this year. There's no room for the start that they had last year. Granted, they did start with 3-0. Everything's looking good and stuff, but then films out there, you start to get exposed. It really comes down to the defense. The defense has to support the offense.
What kind of quarterback do you think they'd want with this system? I know you've explored it with 4-down territory with 2 potential rookies, but do you need a top 5 quarterback in theory if things are working well for the offense?
No, I don't think so. I think there are other systems where you do. I think the Steelers need like a top 5 quarterback. I think the Cowboys need one. I think the Raiders might need one. We'll see what that looks like. But in this system, you just need someone to be responsible with the rock, man, because you're counting on your running game leading the charge. You're counting on Ken Walker understanding when to cut back and being patient. You're counting on McIntosh and Zach Charbonnet being able to back this guy up. So there's still some pieces that this offense needs to support Sam Darnold correctly. I think you need great tight end play. Obviously, all along it's got to be on point. And the run game just has to work. It has to work. If the run game does not work, you stand no chance. And now you're really starting to look for more than just your franchise quarterback. You're looking at that offensive line. You're looking at the running backs. This is a crucial year for this offense. Even though it's Kubiak's first year, I think he'll be fine. He'll have 2 or 3 swings at this thing. But everyone else on offense, they're fighting for their jobs. I think the only one safe is really JSN, Cross, and Abe.
I feel like getting to your point about the run game, I feel like that's the gamble Schneider's making. Like, we all talk about it like Sam Darnold versus Geno, but I think the bet isn't Sam Darnold can be better than Geno. The bet is Sam Darnold can do enough at a cheaper price, and he's younger. And we can fix the offensive line. We can make the run game better. We can be a better, more complete team. Like, the bet John Schneider is making isn't necessarily on Sam Darnold. It's on himself. Yeah,
it's on himself. It's on the coaching staff because they have to develop. Obviously, they were not aggressive when it comes to grabbing offensive linemen this offseason. They're banking on – honestly, look, I think they're looking at this year and they're thinking to themselves, let's just get better.
It's a step.
Let's get better. All right, let's not worry about making a conference championship game, going to a Super Bowl. That's always going to be the goal. But in reality, let's just get better. Let's understand who our players are and what we need for this offense to work, because I think Mike McDonald believes in this offense. He had a taste of the Grubb era where you're throwing the football a bunch and you're putting a lot on your quarterback. He's done with that. Let's just get better. And you're going to preach to the team championship, win the division, and all that good stuff. But it's almost like he set the reset button. I'm not saying that first year didn't happen because some good things did happen. He's put together a defense, and I think it's going to be really good. But you push the reset button on the offense, and offense is not going to be fixed in 1 year. Just get better. Take a step forward.
What's a step forward look like for a win total, for an outcome, for a what is a season-ending something that you'd be like, I feel like that's a step forward?
Not being near the bottom when it comes to the run. I haven't been able to run the football
fair.
for so long. If you can run the football, everything else is easier when it comes to an offense.
So let's say they get 9 wins, not in the playoffs, but they were a top 10 run team, and maybe they didn't get into the playoffs because the rest of the NFC West or another NFC division is just way better than we all expected.
Well, 9 ain't gonna be enough no more.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Let's say it's just you weren't gonna luck in, and maybe it's the same thing. Let's say they finish with 10, and it's just you clearly are not in the playoffs, and it feels like you're stuck. Is that what you're going to be looking at? Where you're like, I know who this team is now.
Yeah, you wanna feel like other teams were just better. That they just had more personnel, better personnel, and just outplayed you. You don't want to feel like you came up short. If they go through the season, they feel like they came up short. That's going to be disappointing. It's going to be disappointing to not make the playoffs in general.
Yeah.
But you just want to feel like sometimes as a player, as a coach, you look across the sideline and you tell yourself, they are just better than us, right? They have better personnel. They're coached up. Their scheme works for the guys they have over there. You don't want that feeling. But sometimes if you walk off the field and you say, look, we gave it our all. It was a heck of a game. They just played better than us. You can accept that, right? You don't accept it. You can deal with that. You don't accept it, but you can deal with it. But if you feel like you were outplayed, you were outcoached, out physical, that's a different type of feeling.
253, everyone that predicted 4 to 6 wins for the Hawks last year were off by a year. They'll be lucky to get 6 this year unless they make some big changes.
Right now, I give them 8.
Yeah,
I give them 8 right now.
I don't think that Sam Darnold would operate last year's offense the way that Geno did. I think you have to give Geno the nod there. Even if you're doing it reluctantly, he at least proved that he could. With fewer weapons than Sam had with Minnesota. Not that he was Sam playing behind a top offensive line. He certainly wasn't. I just don't know that I see the drop-off as being as massive. And I'm not wowed by Darnold. I'm not. I think that there is a gap. But, man, to say 5 wins, that's a big – you're cutting your win total in half.
What division are they playing next year? Who are their opponents?
I don't know. Curtis, do you know offhand the divisions they're facing this year?
I
should know this based on playoff standings and endings.
Let's see here. 2025 Seahawks schedule, which is not out, but the opponents are, I believe it's the AFC North. Well, they've got an away game against the Steelers. So AFC South, Jags Titans on the road, and you've got the Colts and Texans at home.
That's great.
And then the NFC South at home and away. So
I
both
dig that.
Yeah, I'm looking at. All right, let's do the silly game. We're trying to predict what games we're gonna win, right? Panthers, Jags, Titans. I can see 3 wins there. That's on the road. Home, Saints. Ooh, Texans,
Colts,
Saints, Colts. I see 5 right there. If we just go with those 5, 5 right there.
Yeah.
Okay. I give them 8 or 9.
Well, and I think, okay, so this person says going a run-first offense with the league worst O-line just seems like a bad idea. Yes, but that's what I mean by John Schneider's clearly betting on himself.
Yeah, he's betting on himself. He's betting on his coaches. I mean, we still got to look at the draft and see what happens. He also said that there are going to be some camp casualties, guys who get cut later that he's going to look at as well. They're not done building this offensive line.
No, and it's clearly a problem, and everyone knows that.
It's just up to this point, people feel like they haven't done much, which they haven't done much. But if we understand his approach, then I think that would allow people to be a bit more patient to see what happens in the draft and then see what happens when camp rolls
Well, and
around.
his approach clearly depends on, and you've talked about it, what does a new offensive line coach do? What does Clint Kubiak do? And if we're all going to use examples of well, this person was a 4th-round pick and he was great, and they're anomalies, well, then I would point to the anomaly of the Washington Commanders last year, who we thought would potentially be the worst offensive line in football and ended up being pretty solid. You can look at Jaden Daniels, a massive, massive, massive impact on that, obviously. But part of that was clearly coaching.
Yeah.
And scheme.
That's what keeps me optimistic is knowing his approach, knowing that there's still moves to be made, then also knowing how Kubiak is going to call a game and what type of players he's looking for. You think if Kubiak sat down in Schneider's office and was like, look, man, none of these guys can do it. None of these guys could do it. We got to go get somebody. He'd be more likely, I feel like, to take a bigger swing at some guys. Maybe he does look at Fries and say, all right, man, forget the physical. We need at least one piece over here right now. So there are a lot of questions that haven't been answered. And at least from my perspective, I understand the moves that could be made in the future. So it allows me to kind of stay calm and wait and see.
Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one, Luka Doncic dropped a season-high 45 in last night's blowout win over the Mavericks in his return to Dallas. What's the real headline?
Okay, sure, but the Mavs won't have to pay him a max extension. So who's the real winner here?
Gladly pay that extension. Let's do it now. Let's do it. Lock down Luka. Let's sign him to what Peyton Manning had with the Colts, a lifetime contract,
Just
right?
always.
Just lock him down. Was it the Colts or did he have with the Broncos? Either way, he got that lifetime contract. Like, look, as long as you're playing ball, we want you. That's how I feel about Luka. But seriously, good for Luka showing up and showing out, man. 45 points on him and reminded Nico that he made a huge mistake. Okay. This is working out better than I thought, folks. I thought Kyrie and AD, the pick and roll game is going to be crazy. Kyrie gets hurt. I didn't think Luka was going to be acclimated as quickly as he has over there with LA.
Can I interrupt to ask to expand on that? Like, what was your question about Luka after the trade? Because everyone was like, oh my God, this is amazing. But you were like, well, I'm curious about this.
Luka needs the ball in his hands. LeBron plays with the ball in his hands. It's switched. LeBron is playing even better without the ball in his hands. He doesn't have to bring the ball up every single possession. I was questioning his defense. Is he going to be able to play the type of defense that J.J. Redick wants? And just chemistry. Like, I didn't know if it was going to mesh automatically, and it seems like it has. On the other side, I thought it's easy. You got a point guard. You got a big man. The pick and roll game is going to be crazy. AD's going to play with a chip on his shoulder. But a lot of bad things have happened for Dallas and for the Lakers. The defense has stepped up. Luka and LeBron have figured it out. Luka's the quarterback. LeBron's the receiver now. It's just a good situation.
Headline number two, round one of the Masters is underway. Got Justin Rose sitting atop the leaderboard at -6 through 10 holes.
-6 points. -6 points.
Scotty Scheffler, just 2 shots off the lead.
-4.
What's the real headline?
We got a TV in studio, so if Bump suddenly stops talking, you'll know why.
Look, I got a TV to my right. I got an iPad to my left.
What's on the iPad?
The other angles of there's many groups you can follow on the Masters. It's not just
That's
one
right.
broadcast.
You can watch like a hole, right? You can pick which hole you want to watch.
I can bounce around, Stacy. I can follow groups. I can look at one hole.
Oh my
got the
God.
TV broadcast right there. Multitasking at its finest. Rory, go ahead and get this, okay? I thought you were divorced. Apparently, you and the wifey made up. I'm happy for you, but let's focus, okay?
We all learned that together.
Yeah, at the same time. I suddenly became very interested in golf. Once I was like, well, what kind of relationship drama? What's this pop culture kind of stuff we're talking about? I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
You know?
Happy for him.
So,
Be happier if you win, though, Rory.
You said you're rooting for him? Okay.
Rooting for him. I might have.
Oh, got it. There might be
vested
some
interest
financial
in this.
incentive
There might
in
be.
rooting for Rory.
I don't know. There
Okay,
might be.
okay.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, the Seahawks are reportedly hosting Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe and Louisville quarterback Tyler Shough on top 30 visits this week. What's the real headline?
Will John be able to pass on a passer?
I think he will be able to pass on a passer, but like a conversation we had earlier, eventually he's going to have to go get somebody. Sam Darnold has to prove it this year. I hope he does. I hope the Hawks are in a situation where they have their guy and they feel like we're good for 3-4 years. Let's ride it out with Sam Darnold, but he still has a lot to prove. And Milroe is an interesting prospect. He's a guy who needs to sit and marinate for 2 or 3 years, in my opinion. Athletic quarterback. Has to work on his touch a little bit, but when things break down, he is exciting to watch. He is the most athletic quarterback in the draft. And other than Lamar and maybe Josh Allen entering the league, he could be one of the most athletic quarterbacks off top man, Anthony Richardson.
What if John Schneider came to you and said, Bump, I love your show so much. Stacy is just a pleasure to listen to. And, I've decided to give you one of my day 2 or day 3 picks to use on a quarterback. Just have your fun. Just so let's say Shador's off the board. Obviously, Cam's gone. And let's say Jackson Dart's gone too. Let's say he goes late by the Steelers or Rams or he's just a, first round pick. But everyone else is left. And John goes, who do you want? What are you saying?
What
I can't believe he's giving you this power, by the way.
Either. What pick are we talking about?
He just the next quarterbacks after Dart and Shador Sanders are also gone. Everyone else from that group. So he goes starting with the day 2 pick, whatever you want to use it on.
Man, after watching film on Will Howard, I really like Will Howard.
Okay.
I've been a Kyle McCord fan since day 1, and I think Milroe is a solid prospect as well. But I'm going to go, and then Shough, I've watched film on Shough. They're the typical draft.
So all use 4 picks.
They're the typical draft. Like after the top guys go, it's kind of like, all right, well,
yeah,
they're all not great, but they're all not bad.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one, I'm probably gonna go with
the one you'd personally be like, I just want to see what happens.
Kyle McCord.
With this guy. Kyle McCord?
That's my guy.
I thought you'd go Will Howard.
Nah, Kyle McCord. Will is he's sneaking his way into my heart though. The more film I watch, the more I like Will Howard.
What if Will Howard was 22? Or not? No, we were talking about Tyler Shough earlier. Just kidding.
Yeah, Shough 25.
Okay. Why Kyle?
Great arm.
Big Syracuse.
More mobile than people give him credit for. And he had a lot of responsibility with Syracuse, man. He threw the ball like 50 times a game, the most attempts in the country. And he handled it well. I saw him bounce back from some mistakes. So, yeah, I like him. But Will Howard is on his, what?
A former Husky is headlining NFL headlines. That's next.
4 down territory. Going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Which Seahawks offensive lineman will have the biggest jump in 2025?
I think it's going to be Chris Haynes. The more I watch this film, the more I understand the offense, I think that this fits him. I think everyone's going to improve. I think my man's going to improve, Gerald's going to improve. But the way he plays the game now fits this type of offense. If Kubiak were here last year, Chris Haynes would have gotten more opportunity.
4 down territory every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
This is an important announcement to anyone facing $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state. Struggling taxpayers can now take advantage of special tax relief programs that could resolve your tax problem, stop collections, and significantly reduce the amount you owe if you qualify. Get the relief you need today during these hard economic times. Call Community Taxes Relief Hotline now at 800-741-3179. That's 800-741-3179.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Call or click 811 before you dig. Anything that causes you to roll up your sleeves a little and dig in requires you to first connect with 811. Call or click 811 and visit safeexcavator.com.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. I'm here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. When you're dealing with business owners and the idea that they owe money to the IRS and they feel like they might be letting their staff down, and it just spirals out of control.
One thing I see with businesses, it's really tough because they have employees and maybe they're having a difficult time with the cash flow of the business. Then unfortunately, what a business often does is they quit making their payroll tax deposits, which is really about the worst thing you could be doing. I mean, it's a telltale sign if you're doing that. Hey, get someone that can help you kind of look at your business and see if things can be changed so that you can operate your business better and make those payroll tax deposits. Because let me tell you this, the IRS is on those right away.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, you have to call Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity.
So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and 1 unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus 1 unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus 1 unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Last year was such a phenomenal class for quarterbacks. There's a couple we don't talk about. One, J.J. McCarthy, but no offense, Vikings. This is Washington State, so we're focused on a Washington product. Michael Penix Jr. was playing behind Kirk Cousins for most of the seasons until Cousins was benched. So now we're finally going to get a look at a full season with Penix as the starter. Justin Simmons, plenty of faith in Michael Penix Jr., says he has it.
And when did you know? And what is it the one thing about him quickly that you know he's the guy for that team?
Training camp. That was my 3rd day of practice. Literally 3rd day being there. He was running the second team reps and going up against the second team defense. And he had this no-look throw down the sideline right into it was the craziest throw I think I've ever seen in person. And I was like, oh, he has whatever it is, he has it. So I'm excited to see what he does.
Do you think Michael Penix has it?
Listen, I'm not hating. It's gonna sound like I'm hating for a little bit.
Well, I know you don't want to hate because we have audio of you being a Husky fan.
Of course.
I know.
Listen,
I want UW to win the Apple Cup.
Go Dogs.
We have that ready.
So
locked and loaded.
It's so smooth too.
Go Dogs.
It's so
Go
smooth.
Dogs. It's so
but
natural.
listen, and how did you get that so fast?
Is it a hockey?
I want UW to win the Apple Cup.
Go Dogs.
You're just saying this. I don't know what you're talking about.
What do you mean get what?
Yeah, you just can't stop saying it. It's
Evidence?
Just, we get it, Bob.
Yeah, I
Bob, get to your point.
I'm trying to. I keep getting interrupted. All right, I'm not hating on Penix. but you don't know if he has it until he's in the fire, until your team is losing. He's got to bring you back. He's got to get in the huddle. He's taking a knee. He's talking to the guys. That's when you find out he has it. He made a no-look pass in practice, and I said, wow, he's got it. That's one step to becoming it, or figuring out if you have it. I got to see more. I think he's going to be fine, though. So it sounds like I'm hating, but I think he's going to be fine. I believe in Michael Penix because I watched him play at UW. I think it's going to translate. But you don't know if he has it until my man is in full command of the offense and he leads your team to victory. That's when you find out. Not a no-look pass in practice where he's not going to get hit. No one's touching him.
Okay.
It's practice.
This sounds like a dumb question about semantics, but I actually mean it as a bigger question that's more interesting. What is it? Like, how do you, like, what's a player
It's
who
a
you
feeling.
thought, well, what's a player when, like, maybe he was on a team with you, or maybe you watched as an analyst and you thought he has it? What did that look like?
You can't even describe it. It's a feeling. Like Walter Jones, it. He walks in the building, just Walter Jones. He has it. Of course, you back it up with your play. It's all contingent on, are you able to make plays? Are you reliable? But there's some people who just walk into a room, and because of what they've done on the field, and because of just their persona, it's like they're glowing, like they got it.
Is it sometimes that they are bigger, stronger, faster, move differently, look more like a finished product than other people? Because I'm thinking of the last time I thought that in person was DK Metcalf at camp, and he just looked different.
No,
or
I
Jamal
mean,
Adams in person as
there are different things that contribute
underwhelming.
to it. There are different things that contribute to it.
Okay.
You know, DK can have it. Lockett could have it. At one time, Lockett had it.
He did.
Russell had it at one point.
It. How early can you see it?
How early can you see
I
it?
think you can see it early. I think that's the whole point.
We saw JSN when he had that game against the Rams. It's like, oh, there it is.
I think it's
There it
it's
is.
early. And in fact,
But you know what? Not at practice, though.
maybe
You got to ball out in the game.
Well,
Show me something in the game.
he will. I believe
I do
ESPN's
too.
Louis Riddick thinks we're overthinking it. It with Shador Sanders.
I think we are definitely overthinking this. We are picking this guy apart. We are combing through him with a fine-tooth comb in a way that really we haven't seen, another quarterback undergo in terms of scrutiny. And I really do believe that. Now, that's not hyperbole. I think we are really overthinking it with this young man. I think the floor for him is 9. I think it would very much so be a great marriage between he and the Saints at 9. I think his camp would be very, very happy if that happened. And when you're talking about a guy who had basically adjusted completion percentage about right at 80% this year, played behind no line, had no running game in 2 years at Colorado, I think you need to keep in context exactly what he overcame and still had some of the stats that he had.
Bump, I got to be honest, I think he's right. I think that all this conversation about, well, could Shador Sanders fall to the second? I think it's going to end up being exactly what we all projected, which is he's a top 10 pick and goes to the first quarterback needy team after a gap of teams who have their answer.
I don't think we've experienced anything like Shador Sanders. Being attached to one of the greatest football players of all time, be talented, growing up in this climate when it comes to NIL and transfer portal, you got money. This is a different type of quarterback than we ever dealt with before. So because of that, it doesn't look like, doesn't smell like, it doesn't reflect anything that we've seen before. Naturally, people are going to try to pick this kid apart. Just watch the film. That O-line was bad the last couple of years, and he stood in the pocket and he made some throws. Does he have the strongest arm? No. Is he the most athletic? No. Last time I checked, buddy.
Listen here, buddy.
Listen here, buddy.
Where does it come from? Like, what is it? Like, where are people like, where's the big knock? Because I'm like, outside of Cam Ward, and there are
It's his
knocks on
personality.
Cam.
It's his personality.
Is there an on-the-field knock? Like,
there always is. I
Yeah.
can tell you about Cam. Cam doesn't throw the ball on time all the
what's the knock on Shador?
Knock on Shador on. He's not athletic. He's not super athletic. He's slow. He doesn't move like even Cam Ward. And Cam Ward ain't even that fast, but he ain't even as fast as Cam Ward.
I guess I'm just so surprised that some recent mocks have Jackson Dart going potentially ahead of Shador. or just
Jackson
so
Dart's
close.
a better athlete than Shador Sanders. He's a better athlete.
But if Shador's a better passer,
But Shador's a better quarterback.
I know, and now I'm to Lewis's point where it's like, why is anyone overthinking this? Like, if you need a quarterback and the top quarterback is clearly not available to you, and you're not even using a top 5 pick, why would you not? Like, why would the Saints not do it?
We've never seen this. People are scared of what they don't understand, and they've never had to analyze a quarterback that is a top 2 quarterback in the draft, is related to one of the greatest football players of all time, has $12 million in his bank account right now, plays with a rollie on. You know, you've never seen this before. People don't know how to act.
It's just so funny because if you strip away all that background information, he's honestly more like quarterbacks that we've seen in the past. You know what I mean? It's like you guys are familiar with this type of quarterback already. It's the entire reason that...
It's the swag,
exactly.
Stacy. It's the swag.
He's got too much.
Too much drip.
It's too much swag. You're right, though. It's like a confidence of... the NFL feels like such a hierarchical system of like, you need to respect people who've come before you, and like, you do. There is a kind of...
He's a pioneer. All these kids are pioneers in this new generation of football players.
Yeah, but doesn't that kind of irk you sometimes?
Nah. I mean, it makes me jealous because I'd have a couple mil in my account if I was in college right now.
Okay, but as a coach and as an elder...
No. As long as they respect the game, respect their teammates, and we've never heard anything bad about Shedeur Sanders and the coaching staff or teammates. He's never thrown his O-line under the bus, not one time. And he's been the most sacked quarterback in the country the last 2 years.
Will Brock Purdy hold out? A fair question. The other day we heard Adam Schefter say that he doesn't think the 49ers, or rather that the 49ers may not give him an extension. ESPN Radio's Chris Canty thinks Brock should force the 49ers' hand.
I think the 49ers are going to get buried with this contract. This is going to get bad for them. They've got themselves in a trick box. There's no way out because they've already committed to paying Brock Purdy, which is why they moved on from all of those players this offseason, right? They did all of those things because they knew they had to pay Brock. Well, if you cleared the decks to pay me, then give me what I believe I'm worth. Pay me in line with what all the other young quarterbacks are getting paid in this league. Guys, by the way, that have done far less than I have when it comes to playoff success. For Brock Purdy, the floor in terms of average annual value on a new contract would be $58 million. And if the 49ers aren't willing to pay him that kind of money, why should he show up for work?
I saw you nodding until the floor should be 58, and then you went,
58? Yeah, 50.
58.
58. Listen, hold out. He should hold out. He should get his money right now. Heck yeah. Just like people say, well, he wouldn't be anything without Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and McCaffrey. The Niners wouldn't be the same without him. It's a two-way street. You tried it. You tried it with Trey Lance. It didn't work out. You found something. If I am Brock Purdy, I'm holding out. Don't give me this $5 million a year. Extend me like every other quarterback who was in my position or has been in my position does. This is what happens.
Yeah.
This is protocol. It's business. Hold out, Brock Purdy.
Career earnings for Brock Purdy, about to enter his fourth year in the league. 2.8.
Come on, man.
Pathetic.
Come on.
No, I'm just kidding. But it is. It's absolutely crazy. Obviously, his draft stock and what he was getting paid, the bargain that the 49ers were getting. I mean, he had a sub $1 million cap hit. I know it sounds crazy to us. It's not like actually like total money he's pocketing, but it's close. Under $1 million for his first 2 seasons. One of the lowest paid players on your roster.
Yeah, crazy.
And now he's looking at getting 58 at least per year.
Yeah.
Up from 2.8 over 4.
Come on, man.
You know what, Brock? I hope you do. In fact, I hope the 49ers have to pay you $65. When do you give up on athletic upside? That's next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk. Weekdays 6 to 10.
Talk to our man in San Diego, Daniel Jeremiah.
Home run pick for an interior offensive lineman to fit these Seahawks and plug-and-play starter day one is...
Grace Abel, the ability to get out in space and do things second level and pull him and just give you the versatility. Plus, he's got legit 5-position flex. I thought he would be just a tremendous value for him.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you, guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
From groceries to home prices, the cost of living in Washington state keeps going up. Now, Olympia politicians are proposing the largest tax increases in state history. Don't be fooled. If taxes go up, we'll all pay even more. Washington needs lower costs, not higher taxes. Tell the politicians no by visiting www.affordablewashington.org. Paid for by the people for an affordable Washington. Top 5 contributors are Washington Alliance for a Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Amazon.
The azaleas are blooming, and I can hear the theme song in my head right now. It's the Graz here, telling you the Masters is the start of the golf season. Now, why don't you indulge by booking a tee time at any of the 11 fantastic premier courses? That's Inter Bay, Jackson, Bill Wright, West Seattle, Cedar Crest, Bellevue, Linwood, Walter Hall, Legion Memorial, Lake Padden, and their newest course, the Ocean Shores Golf Course. Practice on the range with Top Tracer at Jackson, Inter Bay, and Bill Wright Golf Complex. Play the courses, play virtual, play premier.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington state, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Get ready for an unforgettable adventure at LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Marvel at over 300 world-class automobiles and 100 years of history. Don't miss the Shinka exhibit, featuring nearly 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Feel the thrill of driving a Formula One car on the exhilarating race simulators. There's fun for everyone, so grab your friends or the whole family and plan your visit Thursday to Monday. Learn more at americascarmuseum.org.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chonky chonkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
Ladies, and you guys too, have you noticed visible signs of aging, those deep wrinkles, fine lines, and facial creases stealing your youthful glow? Sagging skin, crow's feet, and loss of facial contour are all natural effects of aging, but you no longer have to let them define your appearance. Introducing the New Skin Lift, the groundbreaking facelift led by Dr. Brian Scott. The advanced New Skin Lift addresses key signs of facial aging for women and men, restoring natural youthful contours. Whether it's replenishing volume lost over time or lifting the skin to smooth out those creases, the New Skin Lift can help you look 10 to 20 years younger with both surgical and non-surgical options. It's Hollywood's best kept secret and now available to you. Get a free consultation and save $250 off your New Skin facelift. Schedule at newskinlift.com or 206-222-1225. Look 10 to 20 years younger and restore your youthful appearance with the New Skin facelift. newskinlift.com.
Swedish Cyberknife is expanding. Dave Wyman with exciting news about Swedish adding a second Cyberknife in Seattle. Cyberknife is a non-invasive, extremely precise prostate cancer radiotherapy treatment. Compared with other radiation therapies, which last 6 to 9 weeks, the CyberKnife treatment period is much shorter, typically 5 days with daily sessions under an hour. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife. Swedish.org/CyberKnife Prostate.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you are listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Coming up at 1 p.m. with the Farm Report, Rainiers broadcaster Rylee can't wait to talk about Logan Evans, Cole Young. I know a lot of you guys very curious about some of these names. So again, Rylee joining us in 15 minutes. Right now, I wanted to talk with you, Bump, about something that's come up over the course of a couple
Who else you gonna talk
conversations.
to?
I mean,
It's the Bump and
I
Stacy
have
show.
a lot of friends.
It's the Bump and Stacy show.
I have
I'm your
friends.
friend for 4 hours every day.
I have lots of friends, and I know their names, and they're there.
Just right outside the picture.
They're
You can't see them.
You can't see them, but they're here.
We're here having a blast.
You know, my friend Jessica and
Generic.
Cron.
I was gonna say Stacy.
Cron. My friend Cron.
The caveman.
He's my friend that you don't know about. No, I clearly made that name up. We talked about Jalen Milroe and all the athletic upside there, and you likened the bet that teams will make on the one that the Colts made with Anthony Richardson, where there's a lot of athletic upside, and you just think, God, the potential is here. In conversations about the Mariners that we've had, a lot of people have talked about all the upside and potential there. So I wanted to kind of combine that topic into this one and just say, when do you give up on upside? Like, when do you give up on potential? When do you get, like, there are so many guys that have clearly been overdrafted because of their athleticism and rare combination of size, speed, skill, and you know that you can see it there. When do you walk away?
I think you walk away when you feel like starting that quarterback is wasting talent. Like the Colts have Jonathan Taylor over there.
Oh,
Top
like
5.
other talent.
Yeah,
Okay.
other talent. Like you have a receiver, you have a running back. The line is good. The defense is on point. But this quarterback isn't far enough in their development to have you play up to your potential. That's one way. Next, just when that contract is over. And we were talking about Jake Locker before we came on air, and I had to look up, all right, how long did he play? He played for one team, he played one contract, and it was a wrap.
Yeah.
And I think teams who give up on guys after 2 years, I think is unfair. But once you hit like 3 and 4, I think that's when you have an idea of what a guy's going to be. The average career is 3 years in this league. So 2 ways for me. You give up on him when you're not allowed to maximize the talent that's around him. He is hurting everybody else. He's hurting the run game. He's hurting the pass game. The O-line's good enough to protect. He's not getting the football out on time. Or the contract is up and you say, all right, man, we tried this experiment. It's time to move on.
I'm almost going to take it a step back and say, I don't even think you should gamble on athletic upside unless you have a sure foundation. Now, there's always going to be a team that's just like, hey, we have the number 1 pick. We're desperate for a quarterback. This guy's absolutely amazing. He has accuracy issues in college, but we can't pass on him, so we're taking him, and I get that. But I think that the success stories that we see with those guys are guys that have great coaching, great systems, great players around them, right? Going back to the Jake Locker point, drafted 8 overall by the Tennessee Titans, he went through like 3 different OCs, a couple different head coaches. I think Malarkey was the first coach, and then Wisenhunt was there at once. I don't know if there was another one there, but like that was a team that had a lot of upheaval, that had a lot of a lack of support around him. And I think that when you see success stories, I know Josh Allen is the worst possible example because there's one of him, but horrible accuracy in college, was compared to Jake Locker a ton, and there was a warning that people had about, like, don't just take this guy because he's athletic and has a huge arm. But he's had stability and a great team and great coaches and great, I guess, I don't even know, structure around him.
Yeah, there's just a foundation. You don't add a guy with huge upside who is athletic to a team unless you already have a bunch of the pieces around.
Yeah.
You know? Because
then what's the point?
A quarterback who's super athletic but hasn't really proven that he can operate as a professional quarterback, you can't expect him to win ball games for you. You can't expect him to take teams to the next level.
Nope.
Like I think that's exactly why Shough is where he is right now, because he operates like a quarterback. He can throw from the pocket. He reads defenses. He's not the most athletic, yet he shines on a football field with a bunch of just monsters out there. No, and it's tough because you fall in love with athleticism, and I do all the time. I love watching film on guys who can just run by people, especially at the quarterback spot, who has an arm and all that stuff. But then you start breaking down. And you start looking at, all right, where's his read here? Where are his eyes going? Do I think he recognized that coverage? Is he protecting himself in the pocket? There are things that you have to do every single snap as a quarterback. And people fall in love with the 3 or 4 plays in a game out of 65, 70 that make you go, wow, that was crazy. Yeah, you only need 2 or 3 of those plays a game. What you need throughout a game from a quarterback is someone who's responsible with the rock, will protect himself and his team, and limit the damage when he can. Athletic quarterbacks are fun to watch, but if they can't do those things, it's like the athleticism means absolutely nothing.
Well, and I just think like there is sometimes a type of talent that someone has that is so exceptionally rare that front offices will almost hang on longer than fans. So I'm going to go to Julio for this one. There are some fans, I don't think a ton. I think it's a minority, like a loud minority of people. But I think there are some fans that have kind of written Julio off or said like, Julio isn't worth his contract. He's never going to be consistent, this or that. And someone earlier texted in part inspiring this segment, and said, the problem with the Mariners is no one on this roster would be starting for the best teams in baseball. No one in this roster would be starting for the Dodgers. I know the Braves record isn't there, but the Braves, the Phillies, the Yankees, whatever. And I thought, I don't know, I kind of think every team in baseball would have Julio starting. And if it wasn't in center, they'd move him to a corner spot, or they'd move him some, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think that any front office in baseball would look at how young Julio is and what he's been able to show at times and go, I'll take that gamble.
I can work with that.
I'll see what I can do here.
work
There's
with that.
so much temptation with a player like that. And the point of this is for me to just highlight how intriguing that is for teams and why they do it.
Yeah, because we're talking about athletes. We're talking about sports. If you are one of the more athletic guys out there, you can do some things that the other guys can't do just naturally. And you see that and you tell yourself, I can teach that. I can help that person become a professional football player, professional ball player, professional whatever the heck, because their ground, or excuse me, their floor is so much higher than everyone else's floor. Their starting point is so much higher.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's a gamble, but it's a gamble if you're taking a guy who's just really crafty and very skilled, but he's slow as heck and he can't jump and he can't run.
Right.
It's all about the right fit in the right system. And with athletic quarterbacks, unless you are running a read option or a zone option read type of thing, RPO type of deal, to start to kind of get his feet wet, it's going to be hard for him just to drop back, throw the football, read defenses, and do all that good stuff. Even though you have to do that at some level in college, but in college, if you're just a better athlete, you're going to have success regardless.
Also, speaking of, let's be real, when teams are able to tap into someone who is a crazy good athlete and he does figure it out, most fun quarterbacks to watch.
Lamar.
You know?
Josh Allen.
Exactly. And people had
Mahomes couldn't read defenses.
Again, not like the most athletic, but athletic in his way.
Yeah.
Able to make crazy
Unorthodox
throws.
athletic.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like that, because teams look at that kind of product and just drool and go, oh my God. Like, if we could, the possibilities are endless. If only you can tap into the talent. Fascinating conversation. And I wonder if it's what people are thinking about when they look at Anthony Richardson, and we, at 10:30 talked about Jalen Milroe. I'm sure it's what someone's wondering with Milroe as well. Farm Report coming your way next. It's Rainiers broadcaster Rylee Pay.
The Cal Raleigh Show.
Belted way out of here to right field. Holy smokes.
Every Thursday with Shannon Dreyer on Wyman and Bob.
Seattle has been nothing but good to me. I would love nothing more to play for one team my whole career.
Listen live on the Seattle Sports app or find the video on YouTube.
Cal Raleigh with a walk-off home run.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
47,000 fans are going crazy.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Bob Stelton here for Asset Roofing, and they have got the perfect slogan. You're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset, and I witnessed this firsthand when I met Anthony, the owner, and again when I had him do work on my roof. Now this spring, replace your aging roof with Asset Roofing because you're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Check them out at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Rizep, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Sweetie, come here. Don't worry. I see a lot of patients with the exact same thing.
Ever since the ice skating rink went in next door?
Or is it more than
Dr. Clark's business is heating up.
So many patients need my help. How will I find time to see all of them?
They need to hire a scheduler, stat.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news to stats to placing bets in a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners infielder Ryan Bliss will have surgery to repair a torn left biceps and is expected to miss 4 to 5 months. The surgery will take place tomorrow. If you're wondering about the math on that timeline, a 5-month return from today would be September 10th.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. It is the Farm Report. Joining us now, Rainiers broadcaster Rylee Pay on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Rylee, how's it going?
It's good. Thank you so much for having me.
We're happy to have you. Obviously, the Mariners farm system is an especially exciting one to talk about. They've had so much success, and we get questions constantly about, Cole Young, Harry Ford, Logan Evans. I know some of them in different, minor league teams right now with Seattle, but I think there are a lot of people eager to know when we can see a lot of these names, and many of them are ones that you're covering. So we're happy to talk to you about it. I'm going to start with Logan Evans and just your thoughts on him from last night.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming off of one of his best starts of the season so far. It was his third here at the AAA level. He got the nod on opening day and put together a really good start here at Cheney a few weeks ago. But coming into his third start yesterday and his final line, he looked excellent. 6 innings, allowed just 1 run on 2 hits, didn't walk anybody, and struck out 7. A very strong start, a first quality start for a starter this year. And he's just been dominant to watch. I think the most intriguing thing about him is a kitchen sink guy. He throws a little bit of everything, and he's able to keep hitters off balance with that. But last night was a really strong showing for him. His composure on the mound and just the way that he's conducted himself in the early parts of the season, definitely showing all the reasons why he belongs here at this level, and another great performance from him yesterday.
Maybe I've heard it before. I like that, a kitchen sink guy. I'm gonna start using that in just everyday terms. But Leo Rivas, he's been called up. Looking at his slash, it looks pretty good. What have you seen out of him this year?
Yeah, Rivas, another one who's been super strong, and with the movement that we've had back and forth, he's been atop the leaderboards in a lot of offensive categories. He's hitting 304 right now over 7 games, just behind Tyler Locklear. So he's been really strong for us, a pair of homers as well, and 6 RBI. I believe he's leading in that category for the team. So he's been a contributor offensively and has been very, very strong as well defensively, just a huge asset to the team.
The Mariners have the #1 farm system in baseball, according to The Athletic, and I've always been really curious to know if, I know you're on the broadcasting side, but you still talk to these players, talk to the coaches, or around the facility. Is there something that you just see that you're like, God, they do this so well, they've really got this, on lock, that you think might contribute to, their success in the minors?
Yeah, I think you can go down the line. There's several things that have really impressed me since being in this system just for the last couple of months. I think just first and foremost from the quality of people that they draft and the staff here, I think is really top tier. I was even talking to some people about that recently. Just the quality of people that they have, the players that are here, they are extremely professional, very just grounded individuals, I think, as well, with all of the excitement that comes around with those farm system rankings and the prospect rankings, and as loaded as this system is, all of these players are just such good people, and you can tell that in the way that they carry themselves around the field, chatting with them at BP, just very even keel and just good people, which is super nice to see. And I think that translates to the results on the field when you have just good people at the core. And I think that goes for the staff as well. All of our staff here is extremely talented and truly cares about the development of the players and the way that they're progressing. John Russell returning for his third season here in Tacoma has been huge for us. Just the professionalism that he brings, the standard that he holds them to, and they definitely respect that and are so just understanding of what it takes to get to that big league level, especially now that you're really down the street. So I think there are so many things that you can name about what makes this system special, but seeing it firsthand, it definitely makes sense when you see it from the inside.
Hey, Rylee, there are a lot of names on the roster that we're familiar with, white guys who get called up and then sent back down. But is there a name that people might not be familiar with that you feel like people should get to know a bit?
Yeah, I think there's so many. And you mentioned it even with the prospects that we have here to begin with. I know that you had Ben Williamson on your show last week, and he's one that has just stuck out to me early on for a variety of reasons. He's fantastic on both sides of the ball. He's been such a strong defender for us at third base and has been a staple in the lineup every single day. His consistency is just what's been impressive so far. He finds a way to reach base. He collects a hit nearly every game that he's played so far, and his ability to work long at bats, I think, has been really impressive. He's working like 7, 8, 10 pitch at bats, really, and just making these pitchers work for it. And then he has a really great ability to drive the ball the other way, and you've seen that early on from him. So he's one that definitely stands out, but a name that you probably are already paying attention to is what he's done in the last couple years. But just top to bottom, you can point out so many of these guys that have been really impressive in the last couple weeks. Still a small sample size, but a lot of them have been putting together really good stats so far.
Some of my favorite stories I hear about are when a clearly established, well-known, very wealthy veteran is doing like a rehab assignment, right? You already know where this is going. And like, you know, it goes down to AAA just to work on something. And you hear stories about like, yeah, he ended up buying like lunch for everyone, or it was crazy for this, 18-year-old, well, maybe like a 21-year-old prospect to be playing with, Robinson Cano for a week. Or is there a story like that you have either covered or remember hearing about where, a young player in the minors was able to cross paths with someone that he just otherwise wouldn't because of timing?
That's a great question. We haven't had a ton of just early on here in Tacoma. We've had Troy Taylor for 3 outings so far, but in terms of just my previous broadcast experience, I've been with the Red Sox just in the last couple of years with their AA affiliate, and we got quite a few rehabbers up there just with how close it was to Boston and the travel schedule. So we had Anthony Rizzo last year for some time, and I know that everybody was really excited when he came to town. Liam Hendricks was one, though, I think that stuck out to both teams at the time. We had the Yankees affiliate in town, and he brought in a coffee truck and had a whole Sunday spread in the morning, and then did dinner for several days and stuff. So it's really cool when you get those rehabbers that just value of the minor leaguers and just kind of taking them under their wing and making it a special weekend for them, and especially for him too. He bought this truck for both teams, which goes the extra yard. So things like that are always cool to see. I'm excited, especially with the proximity that we have to Seattle, just to see who else we might get at some point. Of course, you don't ever want them to be rehabbing here, but they're just always really, really quality guys when you do cross paths.
I love, listening to broadcasts, right? And you guys bring so much personality to the deal and brings it to life. Do you have a favorite call so far this year, or maybe in your career?
Yeah, for this year, definitely the walk-off for opening weekend. We had Austin Shenton hit a walk-off homer against the Express on Sunday. That one was awesome in the bottom of the ninth. So that's definitely top of the list right now for this season. But in terms of just my entire broadcasting career, last year had a chance to do a Red Sox game on Nesson alongside my broadcast partner at the time, Emma Tiedemann, and Jarren Duran homered in, I believe it was the 8th inning, and I was on the call for that inning, for that game, and definitely one that I'll never forget. I think it's my favorite call to date. Just straight to dead center, a no doubter, and just being at that ballpark and having that major league debut, if you would, definitely probably takes the cake for now. But there's so many. I feel like every call is so different, and that's one of my favorite parts about this job is just expecting the unexpected and not knowing what you're going to see every day. So I'm excited in the early parts of this season to have plenty more games to call, and what we've seen so far has been really exciting.
Rylee, you're the first female lead broadcaster in AAA, which is just a really awesome thing. But is it something that you actively think about, that you felt at the time, you stopped and considered, or do you consider it maybe a lesser part of your journey? How do you see it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I definitely have realized the magnitude of it more so over time when you're a part of those first and it's becoming newsworthy in those ways. That's when you really start to think about it and realize how important it is for a variety of reasons. But for me, it was certainly not the reason that I ever got into this profession whatsoever. I just have always loved sports, loved baseball, and so that was the trajectory of my internships, and play-by-play came after the fact for me. Originally saw myself more as just a host or a reporter, and really was interested in kind of going that route, but had some people on the Cape League when I was up there that just really wanted to kind of expand my role and believed in me to try it, and told me that they believed that I could do it, and it was trial by fire is what I always say. So just kind of loved the challenge. At first realized I feel like I can do this so much better after I did it once. And so the challenge is what hooked me and has just kept me going. So for me, it was never abnormal just because I had people that believed in me to do it in a sense. But also just grew up watching the Orioles with my dad. He's from that area. And so I always reference Melanie Newman when she made her debut a few years ago. I was in Wisconsin for a summer internship, turned on the TV, and it was a woman calling a baseball game. And so I thought, that's so cool. But now I know that it's not abnormal. That's kind of how it clicked to me in my mind. If you can see it, you can be it. And so I just always figured that it was something that was going to be the normal. And I've been so fortunate to have managers and players that I've worked with that have never treated me different in any way, and just always approach it as me just doing my job, which is exactly what it is. So I try not to let it get in my mind as just that thing at the forefront, and just really try to hone in on just remembering why I'm doing this, because it's just definitely what I love, and it's really cool that platform though does create that conversation, hopefully for other people.
That's awesome. Hey, what have you seen out of Cole Young? That's a name we keep hearing about, and everyone's interested. I wonder what you've seen and taken from him so far.
Yeah, I think the one thing that stands out for me, and we've talked about on the broadcast a couple times, is it feels like it's synonymous with Young that you're going to get a ball hit over 100 miles per hour. He just absolutely smokes the baseball every time that he's up there. And for some reason, he's been unlucky in the sense of he's just hitting it right at defenders wherever they are. But at some point, that it's all just going to end up in the right spot, and the average is going to reflect it a little bit more. But in terms of just his tools and the type of hitter that he is extremely impressive, especially at this level, what he's been able to do. He's been very strong defensively as well, playing predominantly at second, a little bit at short too, but I'm just blown away by how hard he hits the baseball. I'm impressed. For 21 years old and to be doing that here is super cool, and I think that definitely everything that you read about him translates to who he is, and just a great character as well. Very calm, cool, collected, and definitely has approached this level in a way that it makes sense that he's here, and he's definitely shown that.
You can stream Rainiers games as part of your MLB.TV subscription. You can hear more from Rylee, of course. Rainiers broadcaster Rylee Pay, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Thanks, Rylee.
Thanks, Rylee.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys having me.
Again, that was our farm report. For obvious reasons, taking a look at what the Mariners have going on in the minors. And one of the most common questions we get from people, maybe especially with injuries to infielders right now for Seattle, is, are we going to see some names called up to the big league soon? I think the answer, no. But I am curious to see some of those guys, whether it's, Williamson or Young, or, maybe we see, someone hit the bullpen and pleasantly surprise us. But there are a lot of names worth keeping an eye on, certainly when it comes to, these young players, even if we aren't going to be seeing them super soon with Seattle. All right, let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, we've talked about Jalen, Milroe, and Tyler Shough. Who would be a better fit in the Kubiak offense?
We just had a conversation about the athletic quarterback, right? And how long do you wait until they they figure it out? And I think with these two, I have to go with Shough because he plays the quarterback position a bit cleaner than Milroe. I think Milroe has mass potential. I think that he's starting off at a better starting point than Anthony Richardson. And I feel bad because it's almost like Anthony Richardson kind of set the athletic quarterback back a couple of years. They're going to be scared to roll the dice on a guy like him again because of some of the issues he's had so far with the Colts. Only second year though coming in, he'll have some time to try to right some wrongs.
I don't know if Jalen's going to tap out of the game.
Nah, he ain't tapping out.
I don't know anyone that's ever done that.
That's crazy to me. But I go with Shough because he's clean. He knows how to work from the pocket. He's good under center. He's done the play action and all that stuff before. And he's just a bit more mature when we're talking about age and we're talking about football, right? He's had 3 different stops. He's learned 3 different offenses. No knock on Milroe. I think Milroe can be a good quarterback if he's in the right system. But with Shough, he's the kind of guy that you can put him in any offense and he'll be able to operate. There are little things that quarterbacks have to do to keep an offense effective and rolling. Shough is just ready to do that right now. Milroe, I'm not saying he can't play the quarterback position. He'll be fine. But Shough is more polished.
Second down. What's something people may have confused about what a run-heavy offense actually means?
Run-heavy offense, people think you're going to run the ball 40 to 45 times and don't worry about throwing the ball that much. When that's not necessarily it, I think especially in this Kubiak offense, it's just we're going to run the football first. This is where we are going to start. It's the first punch that we are going to throw, and we're going to throw that punch a bit more than the other punches. But there are times where run-heavy offenses have to spread it out. There's a reason why Lamar Jackson tossed 40 touchdowns this year. We would describe the Baltimore Ravens as a run-heavy offense. But when you have 7-8 bodies in the box, you're going to have some opportunities on the outside to throw the football. So, run-heavy doesn't mean that that's all that you're going to do. It just means that that's the first punch that's going to be thrown. But even the run-heavy offenses have to reserve the right to throw the football. We look at the Philadelphia Eagles. You got the best running back in the game over there in Saquon Barkley. Yet when it's time to let it loose, Jalen Hurts still has to throw the football. So it's a perception that I think kind of gets blown out of proportion at times. They will lean on the run, but you're going to have to do both in this league. No team just does one thing. They lean on something, but they do a little bit of everything.
It's almost like A.J. Brown gets overlooked. I mean, I remember all of us having conversations about the number of run-heavy teams, or rather like run-focused teams that were in the playoffs, and it was part of a conversation about the resurgence of the running back. And it was almost like people completely forgot A.J. Brown was with the Eagles.
Right.
And I get it because, Jalen isn't pass happy. It was one of the critiques, especially going through the playoffs and in the last several weeks of the season. But that's top, I think people would argue, a top 5 wide receiver.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, what are you talking about?
Top 5.
Got to have that guy still. Third down. Why do you like the so-called new mentality of Kyler Murray?
I like this. Kyler Murray, he's been criticized a lot. My man is a Call of Duty champion of the world. He didn't watch a lot of film, so people have been on his head. But quietly, the Arizona Cardinals are putting together a decent football team over there. But his new mentality was, or at least I read, he said, I'm going to run the football more. I believe it was 2022 or something like that. He rushed for about 800 yards. And whenever you can do that as a quarterback, you must do it. You must make the defense have to account for you and what you bring to the table. Kyler Murray can throw the football. You mentioned earlier, people forget he's the first overall pick. He won the Heisman. He didn't win the Heisman Trophy winner over there. Like, he is a good ball player. When his mental is right, when he's in the right system, he's going to ball out. whenever a quarterback uses his feet, it makes the quarterback, the defense have to account for more than just the receivers and the running backs. It holds DNs, it holds linebackers, it keeps the eyes of the safety. Sometimes you got to spy. You make the defenses be a bit more accountable than you usually have to when you don't have a mobile quarterback. And if I'm Kyler, I'm never letting go of that. As long as I have those wheels, as long as I have those Weeboks that he wears, well, I'm going to run that thing. So I like this for Kyler Murray. I don't like it for the rest of the league because obviously they're in the division. It makes things tougher for the Seahawks and everyone else involved. But you got to do this, man. You're only going to be young for so long. And use it before you lose it.
Why does it feel like every single year I have no idea who the Cardinals are or what they want to do?
That's a great question, Stacy.
You know?
Because
and they've had great players go through that.
They're just not consistent, right?
Well, it's almost like they've been to a conference championship game more recently than the Seahawks.
That's true.
And yet, in my mind, they're all, and this isn't even true, but they're like always fourth. That's not fair because it's not true. It's not. But I just, maybe it's going through the number of head coaches and,
they're
and quarterbacks and players.
Like,
I just don't know who you are.
You barely lose to Buffalo last year, 34-28. You beat the Rams, and you win 4 games in a row, but then you lose to Carolina in overtime. You know, it's just they're so up and down with their performances. It's hard to really tap in and see who they are. But this is their new head coach, what, second year or third year? This is going to be his third year, I believe.
Yeah, because after this Philly Super Bowl.
Third year as the head coach over there. So I think once you hit that third year, you start to kind of figure out who you are, and hopefully that culture is sticking.
4th down. Okay.
Yes.
This might be the 5th time we've played this song.
It's beautiful. It's
In
beautiful.
honor of the Masters, who do you think would be the best golfer on the Seahawks?
Listen, there are only 2 options. And when I played for the Hawks, I think Jordan Babin was probably the best golfer on the team, at least top 5. He's a safety. Now, it has to be Sam Darnold. If Sam Darnold is not the best golfer on this team, I don't know if he's going to make it through the contract, because that's part of your MO as a quarterback, right? You got to be a leader. You're a bit more responsible than everybody else, and you are a hell of a golfer. That just goes with it. Wide receivers don't expect them to be good golfers. Running backs, definitely not. Linemen, never seen it before. But quarterbacks and kickers have to be the best golfers on your team. If Sam Darnold does not have a handicap in the single digits, all right, I'm going to be concerned.
He's definitely a golfer. I Googled Sam Darnold golf.
I'm going to Google Sam Darnold handicap.
I don't know if you'll find that out. You might have to just ask him.
I will. I'm going to ask him. Samuel, listen to me now. He's at the Masters. He was interviewed today. So he's there. So we know he likes the sport.
I'm going to guess he's good.
But are you a stick, Samuel? If you are not a single-digit handicap, we're going to have some problems.
What's your handicap?
I'm a 9.
Does it go like up to 20, or what are we talking about?
It goes
no
up
one
to
make fun of me. You can be on sports radio and not.
I don't know how high it goes, but the highest
anything.
I've seen is like 26 or something like that.
That would be a horrible one.
That'd be like, I'm just starting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I could be like a 15.
No.
Like 20?
No, you probably 26.
Maybe like 24.
No, maybe 26.
Maybe 24. I think 24 is
You know
fair.
what? We're going to go to Top Golf, and I'm just going to see you swing a club,
Okay.
and then I'll let you know.
It's right there by the VMAG.
Yeah, we could go anytime, any day. My schedule's busy. I don't know if I can go. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Do I have the worst handicap of the 4 of us? And keep in mind, Matt does not golf.
Probably
none of us golf.
None of us golf. Curtis does. Yeah, Curtis doesn't golf. He swung a baseball bat.
Here's the thing. Matt is so tall. He's got leverage. I don't care if he hits it on accident. He could hit that thing, and it's going to go 200 plus.
I have no coordination whatsoever. I think you're wrong.
Have you seen golfers? They don't look like.
I try not to. It's very boring.
This is discrimination.
Is it?
Height discrimination.
Or is it just physics? It's physics.
I'm moving on.
You're not going to hit the ball that far.
Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
It's another edition of Extra Innings tonight, hosted by Curtis Rogers from 7 to 9 p.m. Hype Train coming your way next.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans? With Seahawks President of Football Operations and General Manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
The American Band, the legendary Grand Funk Railroad, is rolling into Muckleshoot Event Center Wednesday, August 6th with special guest Jefferson Starship. Don't miss this night of classic rock that defined a generation. Get tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com. Grand Funk Railroad with special guest Jefferson Starship. Only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Discover LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you a small business owner who needs immediate cash flow? At Swish Funding, we have flexible funding options from $25,000 to $2 million. For the best rates and terms for your business, just one application to Swish Funding gives you access to our entire network of funders, with cash in your account in as little as 24 hours. To qualify, you must be in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000. Apply at swishradio.com and use code GROW. Swishradio.com, code GROW.
Bull riding, the perfect fusion of strength, skill, and pure willpower. It's the PBR Tacoma at Tacoma Dome, Saturday, April 26th and Sunday, April 27th. Tickets available at Ticketmaster and PBR.com.
Call or click 811 before you dig. Anything that causes you to roll up your sleeves a little and dig in requires you to first connect with 811. Call or click 811 and visit safeexcavator.com.
Here it comes, the second huge online equipment auction of the year. Produced by the James G. Murphy Company. Bidding is underway now and closes at 10 a.m. Wednesday the 17th. Over 800 items are on the block, including heavy equipment, trucks, and logging gear, including a 2016 Link Belt 210 XT TLN log loader, a 2014 CAT 320 DFM log loader, and a 2014 Komatsu 931.1 forwarder. If you're looking for construction equipment, we got 16 excavators, 5 wheel loaders, 4 backhoes, and 2 pavers. Plus, there's a great selection selection of 12 late model dump trucks, including 5 Peterbilt 367s from model year 2013 to 2020. Check out all this gear in person during inspection days, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tuesday the 15th and Wednesday, April 16th at our Marysville location. Bidding is underway now. For pictures and all details, check out murphyauction.com. That's murphyauction.com. murphyauction.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
What I need to know is coming your way in 15 minutes. Get your questions, any question, into the Mac and Jack's text line. That number, 866-979-3776. Again, 866-979-3776. Let's head to the station for Hype Train. All right, starting with the Mariners here, coming off a series win against the Astros thanks to an improbable comeback beginning in the bottom of the 8th yesterday.
I knew it all along, actually.
Oh, you believed the whole time?
Whole time, never doubt.
They had 2 hits going into the 8th inning.
You sure? Okay, sure about that.
The best 2 hits of the season.
The Mariners win their second series in a row. Bump, boarding.
You know, life is good right now. The Masters is on.
Oh, God.
The Mariners won. Randy hit a grand slam. Julio was clutch. The vibes are good. Things are going to keep rolling. I don't even know what they play next. It doesn't matter.
The Rangers.
Doesn't matter.
The team with the best record in the American League.
Yeah, best record, best schmacker, I'd say.
Right. That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
We're going to get this done. I'm on that train. We winning, baby.
Bump's calling a sweep. He's ready to keep up in it. And Julio's going to get a home run in every game. The Mariners win a second series in a row, opening one up against the Rangers tomorrow. Bump is boarding. Curtis, are you?
Rangers have some good starters going against the Mariners this weekend. Nathan Eovaldi on Sunday, Jacob deGrom on Friday, Kumar Rocker on Saturday. But you know what? They're not Bryce Miller. They're not Brian Wu. They're not Logan Gilbert.
There we go.
And that's why the Mariners are getting a second straight series victory. They're not sweeping, but I'm boarding this train. I think they win 2 out of 3 against this Rangers ball club before they head out on the road.
I don't think they do, but I don't want to be left out. And I want you guys to like me, so I'm going to board the train.
If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything, Stacy.
Don't believe in that prediction. I think that this is a better team than we've seen at times this year. Like, I do think they have more talent. It's the same way I felt about them last year. It was like, you have more talent than these god-awful numbers. Like, you shouldn't be one of the best offenses in baseball by any means, but you should be better than this. Like, Julio should be better is what I kept thinking last year. And so I still thinking about the team. But I think they still have some big offensive issues. And while last night's win was really, really fun, I'm not anticipating a run here.
No.
But I also don't, again, I don't want to be left out. So I'm lying to save face. And I'm moving on to the next train. Scotty Scheffler wins his 3rd green jacket in 4 years. Are you boarding?
I already told you who I need to win.
I know, but what if it's Scotty and not Rory?
It's not going to be Scotty because it's going to be Rory. And, you know, Scotty, the best golfer in all the world, Craig. But it's Rory's turn. All right, we determined that we believe in love. Love is real. And him and his wife have rekindled with their flame, whatever I'm trying to say right now. And
I like that you mentioned his marriage.
It's going to work.
Every time. Okay.
You know, because I'm happy for him, man. I'm happy for him, man. Get your family, dog.
I am too. Okay. Bump is not boarding. He has an emotional and financial investment in Rory McIlroy getting this done. Scotty Scheffler wins his third green jacket. Curtis.
Yeah, he's been hitting it long, hitting it far.
Hitting it hard.
And hitting it hard. And you need to do all three of those things in order to win.
Rip that tee right off the sledge.
That's right. And, he's within striking distance, just 2 back of Justin Rose. And, it's going to happen. Scotty Scheffler, third green jacket.
Yeah.
What do you do with the other 2? I mean, those are old.
I know.
You donate them to the Goodwill.
I think so, too. I mean, he's got, once again, Curtis and I being the preeminent golf experts on this station. -4 points.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing to say every time. It drives me
Do you get
crazy.
a new green jacket, or do you just get the old one resized?
Nah, you get a new one.
No, you get a new one.
Get a new one.
Yeah.
And then his wife's like, "Hun, you don't need 3 of the same color."
Literally, you don't need 3 green jackets in any other context. In any other context, you don't even need 2. Okay? Maybe not 1, but certainly not 2, and absolutely not 3. In the golf world, you could absolutely use a third.
Yeah.
And having entered the Masters knowing nothing about most of these people, I'm going to say yes. Feels right.
Name 4 golfers, 4 current ones.
Rose, Scheffler, McIlroy,
She's
and
looking at the leaderboard.
Yeah.
I can name you past
What's
golfers.
Rose's first name?
Justin.
Nice.
Yeah. Ask me Scotty's first name. Next Hype Train. Jalen Milroe with the top 30 visit to the Seahawks. And Jalen Milroe will become a Seahawk. That is your next Hype Train.
No, I don't think it's going to happen. Honestly, we were talking about the possibilities of John drafting a quarterback this year, and I don't think it's going to happen. He's not going to draft a quarterback. If he does, it's going to be like in the 6th or 7th round. It's going to be some guy who's going to come into camp and just hang out and compete. So, no.
Just come in and hang out for vibes.
Hang out for vibes.
Jalen Milroe becomes a Seahawk. Bump is not boarding. He thinks if they do take one, it's late. Curtis, are you boarding?
Sure, we're boarding this train.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think John Schneider so desperately wants to draft a quarterback. They're going to have to fight him to not draft one. He's going to turn that card in the, I think, 3rd round, because they've got, 5 picks in the first 3 rounds? I think the last pick of the 3rd round, that card says Jalen Milroe's name on it.
I think Jalen Milroe is going to be overdrafted. And I don't think the Seahawks are going to be the one doing it. So I'm not boarding this train. I like your take. I would like for the purposes of content, getting them to draft a quarterback and that quarterback being here is great. Fantastic. People are always interested in, is there a quarterback controversy? Who could be the next guy? Quarterback is going to drive attention for everyone. But for the purposes of team building, in reality, don't use that pick on Jalen Milroe.
I would say a quarterback drafted before the 3rd round, so in the first 2 rounds, that's a needle mover for me.
Yes.
At least in terms of could this guy be the starter at some point this season?
Well, and then you start to, if you were to ask me today, do you want the Seahawks to draft Jalen Milroe and use a day 2 pick? I'd say no. But then if they did it, I'd think, well, what does John Schneider know? All of a sudden you're intrigued and you're questioning oh man, what do they see? What if there is something there? So sometimes a team's confidence in a player, because they clearly know more, has you questioning your own idea of who he is.
You know who's going to draft him? The Raiders. Raiders going to draft Milroe.
Yeah.
Yeah. You heard it here first, folks.
Next Hype Train. Remember I told you that story of that girl that hit my car twice in the same day? Meg.
She did it again?
No, that's the Hype Train. Meg hits my car a 3rd time. Meg will hit my car again. She's still parked next to me.
Nah, I don't think she is, because she took your passive-aggressive note, and she's going to ask for a bigger parking space for her
Oh, she'll take it to heart.
Yeah,
She'll actually listen.
She's going to be like, you know what? She's right.
I very kindly and politely and passive-aggressively told her to park somewhere else. Only if you feel like you can't maneuver in that parking lot. Otherwise, it's irresponsible. Meg hits my car again. Bump, you're not boarding. You think that she moves on. Curtis.
The thing about most bad drivers is that they stay bad drivers.
Oh, no.
You don't really improve.
Oh, no, it's inaccurate college quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's not something you can shake. You were either a good driver or a bad driver, and there's really nothing you can do this late in the game to improve your status as a driver. So that being said, Stacy, you're playing bumper cars again. We're boarding this train. Meg has her sights set on your car.
I fear we have not heard the last of Meg. I think she's still figuring out maybe how to maneuver in this parking lot, and I am worried that my car will be struck again. So we'll see what happens. I've tried to even park like towards the other white line, almost give her an extra couple inches even. She scares me. I don't know what's going on. What I Need to Know is coming your way next. Get your questions into the Mac and Jack's text line 866-979-3776.
The Cal Raleigh Show.
Belted way out of here to right field. Holy smokes.
Every Thursday with Shannon Dreyer on Wyman and Bob.
Seattle has been nothing but good to me. I would love nothing more to play for one team my whole career.
Listen live on the Seattle Sports app or find the video on YouTube.
Cal Raleigh with a walk-off home run.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
47,000 fans are going crazy.
Who has some of the best deals on new Fords and Isuzus in the Pacific Northwest? Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Who has a large selection of the highest quality used vehicles in the Pacific Northwest? That would be Wayscar Ford in Auburn. What dealership promises no games, no gimmicks, and never any pressure to purchase? Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Who's the only Ford dealer in all of Washington to offer a 5-day or 500-mile, no questions asked, 100% money-back return policy? You're getting good at this. It's Wayscar Ford in Auburn. They offer a free lifetime powertrain warranty on virtually all their new Fords. How about this one? Who's the only dealer that will purchase your used car, pay you right up front, and then once they resell your old car, return 50% of the profit back to you? Only Wayscar Ford in Auburn. They've given back over $750,000 to customers who have sold them their cars. Finally, what dealership has been family-owned and operated in Auburn for 103 years? You guessed it. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Visit them at wayscarford.com.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Spring is here and it's time to make some changes. I have a plan that has helped over 4,000 people in the Seattle-Tacoma area lose up to 1 pound per day. No surgery, no exercise, no box packaged food, and no drugs or injections with potential side effects. We have a team of health coaches that can support you every step of the way. Schedule your free 15-minute, no-pressure phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com and also see our incredible before and after transformations.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here with Rowland-Smith.
Thanks, Mike. I've been hearing for about 2 years now how you did the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan, and you lost a ton of weight. So I decided to see what the program was all about, and I'm so glad I did. So far, I've lost 30 pounds, and my only regret is not starting sooner.
Let our proven system help you lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. You can start our program in person at our Kirkland office or remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
I've always been a super athletic guy, but after I turned 40, I noticed I was slowing down. Instead of hitting the gym after work, I spent my evenings on the couch with a bag of chips. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and when I did try to work out, I ran out of energy right away. One of my buddies suggested I book a free testosterone check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that low T doesn't just impact how guys perform in the bedroom. I worked with a provider to create my custom treatment plan, and today I'm feeling stronger than ever. Last week, I even set a new PR at the gym. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like frames. Because you found a classic 70s concert poster. But when you went to get it framed, you realized the frame will cost about 4 times the amount of the poster. Which is actually absurd because no one will be looking at the frame, and if they are, then you severely overestimated how cool this poster is. But then you remember by switching your home and auto to Progressive, you could save hundreds and put it towards a classic 70s concert poster in an absurdly overpriced frame. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Swedish Cyberknife is expanding. Dave Wyman with exciting news from our friends at Swedish. They're adding a second Cyberknife. Patients can now receive Cyberknife treatment at Swedish Cherry Hill and First Hill campuses. As many 710 listeners know, Cyberknife is a non-invasive, non-surgical treatment option for prostate cancer with proven results. It uses advanced technology to track your slightest body movements while adjusting in real time to deliver radiation with extreme precision. Healthy surrounding tissue and organs are spared from radiation. The end result? Excellent long-term cancer control and significantly reduced side effects. Compared with other radiation therapies, which last 6 to 9 weeks, the Cyberknife treatment period is typically only 5 days, with each session lasting less than an hour. When diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/Cyberknife Prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's what I need to know. Get your questions into the Mac and Jack's text line, 866-979-3776. First question, what is the Mount Rushmore of appetizers?
Fries.
Mozzarella sticks.
Chicken strips.
Wow, really? Okay, the
Let's say
answer,
wings.
the correct answer is, just a chip dish. So maybe they have like a chips and salsa, nachos, like a side of something, mozzarella sticks, an artichoke dip.
Don't tell me how to live my life.
Then what's the other two?
Fries, chicken strips, mozzarella sticks, wings.
Okay, that's
and
actually...
chips with like a 7-layer dip.
Okay, Curtis, do you have 2 more?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't count chips?
No, I wouldn't count chicken strips as an appetizer. I think that's like a main, right?
I get them before I get my my main meal on sometimes, you know? It's on the appetizer section.
Add protein.
It's in the appetizer section.
I agree with you on chips and salsa, mozzarella sticks. I'll go hot wings and then...
Onion rings?
Yeah, I think like a basket of onion rings.
Yeah.
I hate onion
The
rings.
big onion rings.
When's the last time you had onion rings?
Couldn't tell you.
What if you like them? 866-979-3776. What I need to know. I recently just became an uncle. Congratulations. I have a friend who said if I ever become an uncle, I'd be the crazy one. What types of crazy uncles do you think there are?
What type of crazy uncle?
Like, what's a crazy uncle? What would make this person the crazy uncle?
The one who's like in the jumpy house with the kids. The one who gets drunk and tells jokes. The one who dances. You know, the
one
life
who
of the
brings
party.
over too many fireworks to the 4th of July celebration.
The one who has multiple, like, different women every, like, family event. You know, like, you don't know who he's going to show up with.
Yeah. Just inappropriate, but still likable because he's family.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I think, most people's definition, you know?
He wears flip-flops all the time.
With socks?
With socks in a fanny pack.
I mean, I do that. Let's see. What I need to know. 866-979-3776. Do you guys have a That's a Good Question contest? Whenever a guest says that's a good question, y'all look up and give a funny look to each other.
Yeah.
We used to.
We used to keep track, but now I've just been murdering Stacy with the
I got 2
good
today.
questions. I got 2 today, too.
Dang. Okay, yeah.
Actually, I don't know who's been murdering who. Some, go on runs. We're like the Mariners.
The
on
worst is where someone says terrific question, because you know that if I just get good question, it's not enough. But yes, the answer is yes. We used to have like a tracker where if a guest said good question, you'd get a point.
Yeah.
And we don't add to it anymore, but still have the kind of like, what can I say?
Hey, it's what I do.
Just have it now. The trick is sometimes if you ask a complicated question, someone says, that's a good question, to buy time or admit that they don't have an answer. So I cheat. Yeah.
Just load your question.
I know. Someone said calamari should probably be on the appetizers list. I don't like calamari.
Me neither.
No. Curtis, Matt, it's just not good. It's just not.
It's not.
It's too chewy.
It would not be my 6th or 7th choice.
No.
If somebody got it for the table, sure, I'll take a few nibbles, but I'm not ordering it myself.
866-979-3776. Someone said they have it's kind of a non-question, but they said they texted in to us yesterday wanting to know like how they can get out of work, and you guys both wrongfully told him to
poop.
Exactly.
Play the poop game,
which is a weird piece. I said pretend that you've thrown up. They said I couldn't pull it. I just listened to the game instead. I might stick with Stacy the next chance and just be honest, or maybe use a doctor's appointment. They said we had a guy pull the poop card at work, and it definitely was never forgotten. Bump still called it for Randy, though. Also, this is their kind of question. Curtis totally reminds me of Jonah Hill in Moneyball. Love that he's always throwing out stats and knowledge. Guess I need to know if you agree.
No. Curtis has not like.
You got way more attitude than Jonah.
Hill.
The swag is totally different.
Very timid.
I think Curtis would walk all over Jonah Hill in that movie.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd scoff at him.
Yeah, what's his name?
In the movie, it was Peter Brand.
Yeah,
he
you
was
just shut up,
portraying
Pete, and then Curtis would say what he
Aldita
wants to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
If anything, Curtis is Jonah Hill, and what's that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wall Street.
I see Curtis is like killing it.
But he's still got baseball stats.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
No, but he's got a very chill confidence, and I don't think Pete could hang.
No.
I think Pete would be scared. But still, both smart baseball guys. 866-979-3776. What I need to know. Do the Mariners regress to the mean if they're well below it? I feel like it should be progress to the mean. Progress to the mean.
Progress to the mean, sure.
I always say regress to the mean in either direction. I don't know if it's grammatically correct or statistically correct.
You're the English person here.
But I'm not the math person. I just think of it as you move back toward the mean with something. That like, if they were crazy good with runners in scoring position, you'd say they'd regress to the mean.
Yeah.
But then if they're really bad and you know that that's not sustainable, then you kind of do regress to the mean.
You made it make sense.
You know,
Good
you
job.
go back to the mean.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Let's see. 866-979-3776. If a driver does something stupid, do you let them over? Are hazards in the way to say thank you? I don't know what they're asking.
Try to do something stupid and you let them over.
Are hazards the way to say
so
thank
if you let someone in or something and the person thanks you by hitting the hazards. Like, bing, bing, like
really?
You don't do that? I either throw my hand up or hit the hazards. Like, thank you.
Oh, so this person saying someone flashed hazards at me, is that their way of saying thank you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I always do like the, I like turn. Thank you.
You turn, keep your eyes on the road.
I don't like really, just a little bit.
Your demonstration.
You need to make eye contact.
Your demonstration was you're looking out the back window right now.
I do a very over-exaggerated wave because sometimes, they don't really get a lot of.
Rolling your window down. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, fellow drivers.
Thank you so much. Casey the Barber says, how far would you make it on Survivor?
I don't know. I don't watch it enough to know.
Okay, do you think you would make it far, medium, like you get eliminated, or you're out early?
I'm not one of the first to get eliminated, I don't think.
Okay.
I think you
learning from you guys, I can't be too good at something, right? You kind of gotta.
You could not showcase being an athlete at all. You have to lie.
Yeah, my worry about you, Bump, is that you would get too competitive in the challenges and show that you have an athletic background, and people would sniff you out and they vote you out because you become a challenger.
You would need to lie about your background.
So the people who win these things are like the unathletic, unassuming type of people?
Curtis, you explain it. It's not consistent.
Yeah.
But you you have to win enough to like occasionally get immunity when you really need it. But you can't be so athletic that people think you'll always win immunity and they don't stand a chance against you.
Okay.
The social game is maybe the most important aspect of Survivor nowadays. Just jury management, keeping everybody happy.
Yeah, but you can also never be keep them so happy that you're the most liked person, because then people are gonna.
Sounds exhausting.
It is, and you can't go through Survivor without being shady once at least. You kind of have to betray.
Messy.
You're gonna get messy at least once by betraying someone.
Nice.
It's a great show. It's a great show.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Just watch like the first episode this season and just see.
I'll do it.
Just dip your toe.
Text me tonight so I don't forget.
Okay. Check out the Bump and Stacy podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, or SeattleSports.com. For Michael Bumpus, Curtis Rogers, Matt Nelson, I'm Stacy Ross. Wyman and Bob coming your way next.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans? With Seahawks president of football operations and general manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Here it comes, the second huge online equipment auction of the year. Produced by the James G. Murphy Company. Bidding is underway now and closes at 10 a.m. Wednesday the 17th. Over 800 items are on the block, including heavy equipment, trucks, and logging gear, including a 2016 Link Belt 210 XT TLN log loader, a 2014 CAT 320 DFM log loader, and a 2014 Komatsu 931.1 forwarder. If you're looking for construction equipment, we got 16 excavators, 5 wheel loaders, 4 backhoes, and 2 pavers. Plus, there's a great selection of 12 late model dump trucks, including 5 Peterbilt 367s from model year 2013 to 2020. Check out all this gear in person during inspection days, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tuesday the 15th and Wednesday, April 16th at our Marysville location. Bidding is underway now. For pictures and all details, check out murphyauction.com. That's murphyauction.com. murphyauction.com.
Windows are a home's top target for break-ins. At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer added security with our exclusive 3-layer security glass protection. Combined with our lifetime warranty, you'll have lifetime peace of mind. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Harbor Freight knows time is money, so for our Spring Black Friday sale, we're getting straight to the deals. This weekend, you get 35% off jack stands, 56-inch roll cabs under $800, and 2,300 PSI electric pressure washers under $190. See? Straight to the point, so you can get straight to the savings. Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until April 13th, 2025 while supplies last. Limitations apply.
After years of wear and tear, Joe had osteoarthritis in his wrists and shoulders.
I've pretty much worked out my whole life. I actually decided I'm going to train for a half Ironman triathlon.
The pain was interfering with every part of his life.
Basically, can't sleep, causing those kind of problems, very limited movement.
Joe had surgery, but it wasn't the fix he was looking for.
The doctor told me, he's like, hey, this is just going to be a partial fix. You're going to eventually need joint replacement.
That's when he decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
And they're just getting better. I can basically do full motion. I don't have really any pain.
What kinds of things are you able to do now that you weren't before?
I like to golf, and it definitely has made my golf game not as painful. And sleeping. I'm sleeping better because I don't have that aching at night going on and have to roll over.
So, are you recommending this to others?
Oh, everybody I talk to. Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Get ready for an unforgettable adventure at LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Marvel at over 300 world-class automobiles and 100 years of history. Don't miss the Shough exhibit, featuring nearly 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Feel the thrill of driving a Formula One car on the exhilarating race simulators. There's fun for everyone, so grab your friends or the whole family and plan your visit Thursday to Monday.